Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and we have arrived. We are bearing down at the end of Season 2 of Series E. It is Pringles week, it is Series E Finals week, and I am so excited to get into the action. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jaso. I am your Series E host, and I'm so excited to be here to close out our final 2 days of action here in Season 2. Now, for those of you that are new, I just want to kind of break down how Series E works so you kind of understand what exactly is going on. Now, Series E is a professional Apex Legends open circuit that absolutely anyone can join. They brought me in. I am dog at Apex, and they still brought me in. So anybody can get in on it. We have 9 teams that have been drafted and signed by our 9 partner brands after making it through our open qualifiers. Now those players all make $750 a month salary, as well as compete weekly for points and prize money every Tuesday night against other open qualifier squads, and then every single Wednesday against the top pros from across North America and Europe. If you and your squad want to get in on the action, make sure to head over to matcherino.com/ESA for a shot at being a future Series E Pro. Now, I have a lot to break down for you guys. You'll notice Typically don't have notes up here, but I brought a little something extra because I've got a lot of information I want to give to you folks at home here today as we get ready to close out the season. Now, first of all, I want to touch on last week's winners. It was Cheez-It Week last week, and it was a crazy run to the finish on both days of competition. Interestingly enough, Team Racer went into the final game of both Tuesday and Wednesday night with double-digit leads in the standings and lost. Team Intel was able to pull out the win on Tuesday's open night, grabbing another victory on the season. Strong performance from those boys, and they are closing out the season strong. Meanwhile, Na'Vi on Pro Night were able to take the win, even TSM not getting up there to the top of the standings, so congratulations to Na'Vi. Now, I do want to talk about our partner team standings. As I mentioned, it is the final week of the season, and these teams have been duking it out for those standing points all season. So I want to kind of break these ones down for you. Team Pringles still sitting at the top, a 102-point lead for them on our Mobile One leaderboard, and only 2 days of competition remaining. It is extremely unlikely that they will be unseated from that number 1 spot. So Team Pringles coming into the final week looking really good. Meanwhile, Team Pop-Tarts is trying to hold off a surging Team Razor. Well, I did mention that Team Razor wasn't able to close out victories on both Tuesday and Wednesday last week. They still racked up a ton of points and have closed that gap like crazy. That is only 44 points separating second and third. And with 12 games remaining in the season, Team Razor certainly has a shot to leapfrog all the way up to second place to close out the year. So we'll have to see if they can do that. Meanwhile, we keep following this battle in 4th and 5th. Team Applejacks and Team Cheez-It have been duking it out the last few weeks for that final spot to qualify automatically for Season 3. As you can see on our leaderboard, just 2 points separating those squads after last week's action. I believe going into last Tuesday, it was 2 points just with the spaces flopped, with Cheez-It in 4th and Applejacks in 5th. So those are definitely 2 teams you're going to want to keep an eye on here in our final week of play. Now, talking about Season 3, we've got those 5 teams trying to compete to auto-qualify. But we've got you folks at home that want to qualify, and we have set the dates for our open qualifiers for Season 3. Those dates are June 1st, 3rd, 8th, and 9th. Those are the 4 days of competition. They will be 6 games on each day, a total of 24 for the qualifier. And we have adjusted our format a little bit, okay? If you place in first place on any of those given nights, you do not automatically qualify for Season 3. It is going to be a cumulative event. So the top 4 teams in placements through those entire 4 days of qualifying competition are going to be the ones that qualify for Season 3. So it is important to come out on multiple days, perform well, be consistent for your shot to be a Series E Pro. So keep those dates in mind. I will have more information in the following days on what's going on there, but it's June 1st, 3rd, 8th, and 9th, okay? Finally, I want to talk about our Series E 10K Invitational. We have set the date for this one as well. We are extremely excited about it here at Esports Arena. Look at that, $10,000. Oh, June 19th. It's going to kick off at 2 p.m. Pacific time on the 19th. We are super excited for it. Invitations are already going out to the squads that will compete, and also do want to note the top 4 finishers from Season 2 of Series E will automatically be invited to the event. So we're super excited for that one, so definitely keep an eye out. June 19th, save the date. You're going to want to be right here at twitch.tv/esportsarena not to miss all the action. Now, covered just about everything I need to here in the intro. We're ready to get into some fun in our final last 2 days. We still got a little bit more deal or steal to play. So let's head over to the GVO zone and check in with Blueberry Smalls of Lonely Fans. All right, I am here in the GVO zone. I've got Blueberry Smalls joining me for some deal or steal to kick off the show. My man, how we doing? You're looking great. The hair looks clean. You're looking awesome. Are you ready to win some swag?
I am ready. I am so ready.
All right. It's going to be a fun one. For those of you at home, if you want to get in on Deal or Steal in the future, make sure you subscribe to us here at twitch.tv/esportsarena for a shot to come and play here with me. But I got Blueberry Smalls joining me here today, and let's just break down how the game works out. I got 20 Apex crates with a range of different prizes from all of our partners. To start the show, Blueberry is going to pick one of those crates to hold on to himself. We will set that one aside. We will then go through multiple rounds of opening crates and eliminating prizes off the board. At the end of each round, I will have a deal offer for Blueberry. He can either take the deal or elect to steal and keep playing the game. If we go through every round and he takes none of my deals, we will then open up his chosen crate to end the show and he will get what is inside. Everything make sense?
Yep, pretty sure. Pretty sure that makes sense, yeah.
Sounds good. Let's get on the board here, get the game rolling. And don't worry, we will get into more Apex action after this. But we've got deal or steal to play. 20 crates on the board. Blueberry, what are we thinking? Which one do you want to hold on to here to start?
I don't know. One's kind of eyeing me. I think I'm going to go with 4.
Number 4, okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to set aside number 4 here to start the show. 19 more crates to go first round. We have to open 9 of them in this first round. So let's just start rolling through them one by one. You guys can see the prizes there at home. We got some awesome Razer stuff, an Xbox Series X, Esports Arena swag, and more. So what are we starting with?
I think we're going to go with 11. Let's go with 11.
All right. Number 11. Double ones here to start the show. Is it going to be a lucky one here for Blueberry? It is the Pringles pack, and it's Pringles week. So perfect start to the show there. Okay. All right, we're starting in those white tier prizes. What's next?
Let's do 2.
Number 2, back up to the top row. Inside number 2 is going to be 2,150 Apex coins. Blueberry, is there a specific prize here on the board that you're really hoping to take home today? The standard answer is the Xbox Series X, maybe something else?
I mean, everyone's going for the Xbox, but I'm going to go with the keyboard, actually.
Ooh, okay. That's a good choice. We've had a few players go home with that Black Widow keyboard, so definitely a great choice there. 2 and 11 off the board, 7 more to go this round.
All right. Let's go with 7.
Number 7. Okay, let's see what's inside. Number 7, it's going to be, 6,700 Apex coins. Okay. That's quite a bit of Apex coins. We got Blight in chat saying, can't wait to roast him after this. I don't know what you're going to roast my man for. I think he's going to come away with a good prize. I think Blueberry's going to catch a W to start the day.
Blight, no. It's not happening.
Okay. 2, 7, 11, done. What's next?
Let's go with 5.
Number 5, okay. Can we stay into those white tiers? We will. One of the 2 Nestle Splash water packs there. We've got some good momentum here. A few of those white tiers off the board to start. What's next?
Oh, before I say anything, Connie says he wants me to say horse runs in chat.
Yes, give me all the horse runs in chat, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Connie, PA to the stars there.
All right, let's go with 14.
Number 14, okay. 5th one of the round. Can we keep the luck rolling? We want to stay in those white tier prizes. And, we won't. That's the Razer Wireless Black Shark V2 Pro. And I'm going to tell you, that one stings. I got to wear one all over the weekend running a show, and they are very comfortable. So that's a great prize.
I'm kind of jealous.
Okay.
All right. Next one?
Yes. Which one's speaking to you, Blueberry?
Do 16.
16, he says. Down to that 4th row. We want to get back into the white tiers here. And, just a dagger there. Back to back in the first round. The Xbox Series X is off the board.
That's actually unfortunate.
Let's all catch our breath here. Twitch chat, if you have any input, if you see some crates that are kind of eyeing you the wrong way, let Blueberry know. 6 down. We got to open up 3 more here before my first deal. We need to get rolling again here, Blueberry. We got to get back into those white tiers. Got to stay away from those low rows, man. All those purple tiers. We want them to stay on the board.
Yeah, I don't want to go down there. No. All right, let's go with number 1.
Number 1, top left corner. Can we get things rolling once again? Inside number 1 is going to be the other Apex coins. Prize 2,150 Apex coins. But, Blueberry's got all of his heirlooms. He's fine. He doesn't need the Apex coins.
I don't have lifelines. And
I was going to say, we'll pretend I'm right about that.
We're close. We're close.
All right. 7 down, 2 to go. Which one's speaking to you? You've been avoiding that bottom row, 17 to 20.
Yeah, I'm not going to go near there. I don't. It doesn't suit me well. Not yet, anyways.
Okay.
So let's go with 9.
Number 9, down to that 3rd row. Will it treat him well this time? The $50 Walmart gift card. That's a lot of Pringles.
That's a lot of blueberries.
Yes, a lot of blueberries.
Oh, we were thinking the same thing.
Yes. Blueberry Pringles, food. Right? Okay, one final one for this round, then I will have my first deal of the day for you.
All right, I'm afraid to do it, but I'm going to do it. Let's do 20. It's been looking at me.
Ooh, okay. He avoided the bottom row of crates here till the very end of the round. Does it pay off? It does. The Rice Krispies Treats pack there to close out the round. We had a bit of a shaky middle there. So my first deal, not going to be as great. You hit all those Apex coins, the Xbox and the Black Shark headset are off the board. But I will say the keyboard you were eyeing is still available. So my first deal for you here this time around is going to be, you were talking about a lot of blueberries. How about some blueberry Pop-Tarts? I got a Pop-Tarts pack for you this time around. You need some snacks during that Series E competition to keep you going. I would like to send you some Pop-Tarts. So you can take the deal here, or you stay steel and we keep playing.
I'm going to stay steel on this one.
Okay. Blueberry says steel. We'll keep playing.
I want to keep going.
Okay. Hey, I think there's still some great prizes on the board to play for, so I don't disagree with you there. This time around, 6 crates we got to bust open and see what's inside. You still got 2 of the purple tiers available, all kinds of esports arena swag, so I think you are still in a very good place.
All right, let's do it. I think I'm going to go with 15.
Number 15. Down to that 4th row. We ended with the Rice Krispies Treats pack. Can we keep the momentum rolling? It's an Esports Arena mystery box, but 2 of those available and 2 Series E jerseys, so still plenty of Esports Arena swag.
All right. Okay. Let's go with one of the bottoms. Let's go with 18.
18. Number 20 treated you well at the end of round 1, so I'm feeling good about 18. I think we keep the luck rolling here. Inside that one is going to be the Nestle Splash Water Pack. Okay. The bottom row.
Okay.
Treating my man well here. 2 down in this round. 4 more to go.
Okay. Let's do 13.
Lucky number 13. It's been kind of a coin toss throughout this season on Dealer Steal, whether it has helped or hurt our players, but it's going to help out Blueberry this time, the Cheez-It pack. Right after Cheez-It Week. That is a huge pick there at number 13. Okay, 3 more here before my next deal.
All right, we're going to keep 17 on the bottom left, so let's go with 19.
19, he says. The bottom row has treated you well so far. Can we keep it rolling? It's going to be a Series E jersey of your choice. I will say the nice thing is you and the Lonely Fans boys are just playing for a Series E jersey right now with the way you guys have been playing this season, so you may not even need to win one here today on the show. So
we basically already have one, yeah. We're good. Okay. I think I'm going to go with 3. I don't know. But let's do it. Whatever.
Let's do it. Let's do it, he says. Number 3 up to that top row. Can we keep the luck going? Ooh, it's the Razor backpack. No. I felt that one. Okay. We got one more crate.
The keyboard's still up there.
Yep. Exactly. You got your eyes on the prize. We got to open one more this round before my next deal. 6, 8, 10, 12, 17. One of them's got to go.
All right, we're going to go 10.
Okay. Blueberry says number 10. Can we close out round 2 just like we did round 1? Oh, the Razer Black Widow
No way.
V3
No
wireless
way.
keyboard. Oh, no.
Oh, I just got butchered.
Okay. Blight, you may be able to roast Blueberry after this game.
Hope is lost. I'm not gonna hear the end of it today
Okay.
during the games. Like he's not gonna call them all. He's just gonna be like, "Oh, you didn't get the purples. You didn't get the purples." Oh no.
Oh, he is definitely going to
that's
let
all
you
I'm gonna
have
hear.
it. Okay. So, I have a deal for you here.
Okay.
I want to help you complete that heirloom collection. So, I've got 2,150 Apex coins here for you. You were mentioning you didn't have the Lifeline one, a couple of more to go, so I want to help you get there with these Apex coins. Now, let me break down how the show's going to end, okay? You either take the deal here and we're done, right? If you say steal, we eliminate 3 more crates. I will then have a final deal for you. If you say steal again there, then we just open up crate number 4 and you get what's inside.
I kind of want to let chance up to it, so I'm gonna say steal.
Blueberry is feeling lucky. There's still some great prizes up on the board. In my opinion, you win no matter what you go home with. We got all kinds of awesome prizes. So Blueberry says steal. We're going to keep playing. So 6, 8, 12, 17. 3 of those have got to go. We've still got the Pop-Tarts pack, the Apple Jacks Jumbo Snacks pack, the Rockstar pack, a Series E jersey, and that Esports Arena mystery box. Those are the prizes still available. One of those is in number 4. What are we thinking?
Let's do 8.
Number 8. And that's going to be the Rockstar pack in number 8. Great way to start the third around here. Farmer Lucas asking in chat, so the season 3 qualifiers are right at the beginning of June? Yes, they are. June 1st, 3rd, 8th, and 9th.
A week from today.
Yeah,
I think.
real close. Going to be a quick turnaround. Hope you guys are ready. 6, 12, 17. 2 more to go, Blueberry.
All right. We're going to keep 17 at the bottom, so let's go with 6.
Okay. Number 6, he says. Inside that one is going to be, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I want to keep that momentum rolling here, Blueberry. Oh, it's the Esports Arena mystery box. Okay.
Okay, that's unfortunate, but it's okay.
Are we going with 12 here? You were mentioning you want to keep 17 down there by itself?
Just send it with 12.
Okay, we're just going to rip the Band-Aid off here. What's inside crate number 12? It's the Apple Jacks Jumbo Snacks pack. So, we're in a very interesting place here to end the show. We've got that Pop-Tarts pack that I offered you in my first deal. We've got the Series E jersey up there that we both believe that you have already secured one of your own for next season. So, and I offered you some Apex coins. This time around, my final deal for you here, it's going to be the Apex coins again. We're going back to 2,150 Apex coins. So, you can take the Apex coins, try and go get you some more heirlooms, or if you're like, hey, I'll take some Pop-Tarts or a jersey, you could say steal, and we crack open number 4 and see what is inside.
Yeah, let's just go with deal. Let's do it.
Deal? You're taking them home?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Blueberry says he's going to take the Apex coins there. That is our prize to end the show here. Thank you, Blueberry. Let's crack open, just for giggles, see what was inside crate number 4 here. Was it the Pop-Tarts? Was it the jersey? It was the Pop-Tarts. Okay.
It was the Pop-Tarts. Okay.
You know what? I think it was a win either way, Blueberry. Going the distance here, taking my final deal. It was a pleasure to have you on today, my friend. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I
Hey,
did get butchered, but it is okay.
hey, you did great. It was a fun time. Best of luck to you and the boys here on your final open night of the season, and we'll definitely be keeping an eye
Thank
out
you.
for you come season 3, huh?
I hope so.
All
Thank you very
right.
much.
Definitely looking forward to it. Thank you so much. That was Blueberry Smalls of Lonely Fans joining me here for Deal or Steal. Excited to get into the action today, ladies and gentlemen. It is Pringles week. It is Series E finals week for season 2. It promises to be a fun one. I'm just going to crack open these barbecue Pringles and throw down on these, but you folks can enjoy the start of the show. 6 games ahead of you here. Let's get into it.
Series E.
Series E.
Series E. Apex Legends.
Apex Legends.
Series E. Series E. Apex Legends.
Series E Apex Legends starts right now. All right, welcome everybody to the final week of Series E Season 2, and it is going to be Pringles week, and it all comes down to these final 2 days, Tom. We have relegations coming up, and so many teams are on the bubble right now.
No doubt about it. And, Blu-ray Smalls hang in there during Deal or Steal. That was a tough break right there. And, I think taking the coins was a pretty smart decision. But right now, it's all about what teams are going to be getting in to what's happening for Season 3, because it's a tough spot to be in for teams like Team Intel, who have to pop off with a huge back-to-back, virtually 2 first places here is what Team Intel is going to need. And then a team like Applejack and Team Cheez-It, they're duking out with just a handful of kills and placement points that's going to separate them between either going through relegations or actually making it into Season 3.
We're going to take it step by step, though, and so let's talk about the format for today's games. Like always, throughout the regular season of Series E, we have 6 matches up for you guys today. Our 9 partnered squads will be facing off against 11 open registration squads, and they'll be battling it out for $500 in prizing. We got $350 going to first place and $150 going to second place. And like you said, Tom, these points are going to matter, of course, for today's matches, but overall cumulative leaderboard as well. It's only the top 4 teams that will secure a spot in Season 3, and then the rest have to battle it out throughout relegations and qualifications, which will be taking place next week. Let's take a look at the teams that will be competing today. Of course, our 9 partnered squads, but we have a lot of new names competing today, and I'm excited to see this. And one team that I'm already spotting here is going to be Team Content with Turns, We the People, and Corey.
Yeah, you have 2 Brains, 1 Controller. We obviously have Lonely Fans there. Just saw Blueberry playing Deal or Steal. I'm kind of looking out for Team XO2. This is another one of these teams that's been impressing us, kind of newer here to Series E, but also keep an eye out on the partner teams, obviously, too. But, Team Nestle Splash, Team Rice Krispie Treats, even though they're kind of sitting at the bottom of the leaderboard, I really feel like since this is the last week, especially with the ALGS Global Championships coming up and all these teams getting ready, that everybody's going to be giving it their best foot forward here. It's going to be their A game today, and that's why we see so many teams, right? But it's going to be interesting to see how everybody plays, because it's going to be most likely a slower pace. A lot of times on our open day, we have very fast-paced games, but today I feel like after looking at these teams, it's going to be much more structured.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the cumulative leaderboard whenever we get the chance, just so we can kind of set the stage. Like we said, it's the final week of Series E Season 2, and this is what we're talking about right there. Team Applejacks are on the bubble, and there's a 2-point difference between them and Team Cheez-It, but we saw last week Team Intel were able to close the gap. They were down about 80 points to Team Applejacks. They made up about 30. And so, like you said, if Team Intel pop off in the next 2 days, there's a chance that they secure a spot and upset both Team Applejacks and Team Cheez-It.
It's possible. It really has to start with today. They're going to have to get to an early start. You don't want to see if your Team Intel, Cheez-It, and Applejacks really going in at it. And I think that Team Applejacks is going to make some more changes like they did in our Pro Day last week, where they decided that they didn't want to contest over towards the tree side. They're going to play a little bit smarter, take different 50-50s, and kind of go about it that way, because it's so close between these 2 teams right now. Cheez-It and Applejacks have been playing phenomenal, but Intel has been having, they had a slow start in Season 2, but they started to pick things up. They changed a lot of team compositions, but with the current meta right now, 6 playing on Gibraltar, I feel like they're playing really solid. But still don't keep your eyes off of Rice Krispie Treats, Rockstar, Nestle Splash. These were teams that didn't play through relegations in season 1, that they were awarded their season 2 spot based on how good the performance was last season. And I think that they're going to want to end this season off strong. And there's a lot of other teams here kind of poking around that we see, again, Lonely Fans, Team EXO, Team Content, that are going to be coming for these spots when these relegations do happen.
And overall, for the championships are basically the winners of season 2. We'll see if Team Pringles hold on to their spot. They currently hold over 102-point lead over Team Pop-Tarts. And as long as they have 1 or 2 good games, they should be able to maintain that. We'll see if that remains true. But right now, Team Pringles have been having an excellent season so far. We are getting game number 1 set up right now. And, I want to kind of talk about like what happened for Team Intel and Team Applejacks, about how they had differing starts, right? Team Intel were 15-15 Team Cheez-It at the beginning of the season, and Team Applejacks were able to rally around not being contested over by Tree, but towards the latter end, like you said, Tom, during Pro Night, Team Applejacks started getting contested, and all of a sudden, their points total, they really start to suffer in that regard.
It really does, because your landing spot is so crucial here. And we're seeing times where if you don't win your 50-50s and you're not getting a lot of points, all of a sudden you do win your 50-50, say game 4. And a lot of times you go and win that game. It's been pretty interesting to go and see. But it's about the current meta right now, too. There's been so many different adjustments and changes that have been happening. I feel like this season, more than any season really, that we've had. I mean, when we look at season 1 for Series E, the meta was pretty standard, but this season things have gotten pretty crazy. And I mean, we've seen tons of changes to the legends, and obviously weapon changes, things like that. The bow coming through, the bow being nerfed, even though it's really strong still. So a lot of the teams are figuring things out as they go. And I think the number one thing that they figured out is that they really gotta avoid these 50-50s, because it's so important, again, just to get your feet underneath you, get your loot, and get your pathing.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult to get your feet underneath you when you have so many now changes in compositions like you were talking about. In particular, a lot of mobility legends, right? At the beginning of the season, we saw some Horizon gameplay. Octane came through, and then Valkyrie got dropped midway through. So it's been a lot of changes, and like you said, Tom, a lot of adjustments for our squads throughout the 12 weeks of the regular season of season 2.
And you really look at this list, and you look at the cumulative leaderboard, and you think that most likely these 3 spots are already locked down, right? Like, we don't have a for sure, star next to these teams' names, because anything could happen right now, right? But over these next 2 days, when you look at Pringles, Pop-Tarts, Razor was 2 weeks ago on the bubble. They were the 5th team looking outside, trying to get in. And they were able to put together that much strong performances where they were able to bump themselves up. So when you look at that, you say, okay, well, Team Intel could do the same. Unfortunately, for a team like Rice Krispie Treats, Rockstar, Nestle Splash, I really don't think it's going to be the case for them. So that's why I, again, think it's really important for them today to come through and not have weak performances, have strong performances. Nestle Splash has been stepping it up over the last couple of weeks. I think Ronnie's kind of found his groove. You're seeing a lot of good plays from everybody on that team, but there's just something missing, right? And it was like that for Team Intel in the first couple of weeks. Something was missing, something, was, not working out. A lot of times Team Intel, in my eyes, has been the most unlucky team, but the team that obviously sitting in first place, it's Team Pringles week. The team that looks like it can win a tournament right now is Team Pringles. And I also think that we talk about Lucas and his improvements, but Razor over the last couple of weeks with Serial as well as another team in terms of these partner teams that I think that they're ready to go. They're ready to, put down some serious points in the actual global championships that are coming up.
Yeah, it's been a lot of divergent styles for our squads. Team Pringles, one of the more patient teams, can wait out for the late game, don't really activate themselves until the mid-late game there, and that's where a lot of their points are picked up and the wins that they get through along the way as well. Team Razor has been one of those squads that you've been talking about. We've been seeing them improving over the last 3 or 4 weeks, and it's been about really accepting the fact that a lot of the times, because of their drop, playing on the edge, they're going to have to do that. Looks like we might have game 1 up, and here we go. Remember, this is the final week of Series E Season 2, and this is the first game of the last 2 days of the season. So let's get straight into it now as we head into World's Edge. It's going to be 6 matches here, and it looks like we do have the drop coming out from Team Intel, and they might be getting challenged over by Thermal Station. So we want to keep an eye on that so far. I saw Metro over there, and it looks like another team might be showing up. And Team Intel on their 50-50s over by Thermal have been fairly consistent.
Starting things off with Pringles, though, right now. It does seem like Panders is going to get into a little bit of scuffle over towards the side. So they do have some sort of contesting happening. And you see Pop-Tarts is over towards Geyser, and they're going to be finding some fights as well. But yeah, you're right. Team Intel is going to get tested on the thermal station side. And it looks like Team Intel's a little bit on the ropes right now. They do have 2 knocks right there on the Night Sea. Panders is healing up, so that's huge. But he's going to get down, and now it's only up to Metro here. Spitfire Sentinel, not ideal for this type of situation, is currently silenced, so this team's going absolutely crazy because they're playing some sort of Revenant composition, most likely with Octane. And what's the play here for Metro? Looks like he's running around, no scan going to be coming through, and he's just going to be hitting this res over towards the side while the door is going to be blocked. So good job getting one of his teammates back in, and also baiting over towards the side. That's going to be a Gibby with a fairly healthy shield. And Panders is hitting a cell as well. Team Intel trying to deal with this one Gibraltar, and it's going to be a 2-on-1 situation.
Yeah, this is scary. They have 50 HP amongst 2 of them right now. They're going to go in for the peek. Hits for the 51 with that bow check bow. They can go for the 2-for-1 peek if they want, but it looks like Panders will get the flank and clutches up for the squad. Team Intel will survive this 50-50, but they need to get moving quickly. Teams could be on the rotate right now. It's a minute 47 seconds left. As it looks like Team Cheez-It might have gotten involved in a fight as well, but this one's looking much easier for them now as they continue to push forward. Joey Blackout already throwing down that scan over here, and he does spot out a Pathfinder just kind of lazing about. And that's going to be an easy kill for them as they pick up the 3 points there. Team Cheez-It will also give us a slight glimpse of what the ring is looking like. It does seem to be pulling down to the south here, could be going over towards Sorting Factory. We've had a lot of action. Don't know if anyone's been able to pick up the banner for us, or excuse me, the beacon for us quite yet. And there it is. We do have confirmation. It is coming down to Sorting Factory, most likely launch site. And Team Cheez-It would love to have been moving already for this zone, but being contested will slow them down. It does look like another team from Dome have made their way on over, while Team Pringles have positioning over one of the hotly contested spots here at launch site.
Oh, I'm gonna miss
so
there.
far though. Team Pringles are just gonna hold it here.
Yeah, I mean the longbow is. That's why people really don't use the longbow in these type of situations. If he had the scout there, I highly doubt he's gonna even miss a shot. Those were very easily lined up shots there as Team Pop-Tarts finds a fight. Someone's in a fight over towards No Name. We actually see Team Pop-Tarts fight here fairly often. But this is third-party central right now, being in the middle of the map. Teams do have to rotate over down towards the south, but Lucas takes an off angle, and that's something that you want to kind of cue towards, but they feel like they have the advantage in this fight, and they wanted to go and push that, so that's why Lucas is going to go advance. But everybody doing a good job of taking angles when they need to. Malice comes through with the R9 and gets a knock, so we'll see what the recovery is going to be here for Team Pop-Tarts. It could be a bail. This fight's been lasting for quite some time now, and that's what it seems to be. I mean, Impulse probably wants to pop his Beast of the Hunt while he has the opportunity to, but it just doesn't seem to be the case, as we do have Team Rockstar getting busy over here as well with the third party, and this is what we were anticipating. So I do like the opportunity for Team Pop-Tarts to potentially get back into this one. You can see them on the outskirts trying to play on the player outlines, knowing that there's going to be more players coming around, and you can see the flank coming through. Lucas just comes in with the finish right there onto the Gibby, and they're trying to get back into this one.
Yeah, they saw the knock at least on the other side for Rockstar, bringing this down to a 2v2. Oh, he's Senpai trying to play from below, but he's getting full-on pushed right now as the first knock comes out. Trinal going down, and we'll see if Impulse can finish this one off. He trades. Lucas needs to show up here. It's down to the 1v1 as he needs to try and push this Gibraltar here. Do not give him any time to heal up. The dome is down as well, and without a scan, it's going to be difficult for Lucas here to just try and push in. Does get a bat at the very least, and we'll be able to heal that one up, but there's so much time being spent here on this fight. Gets through the arm shield, hits for Flesh, now pulls out that wingman to try and finish him off. Hits for the 38, and oh no, Lucas is down to one shot here. The arm shield up once again for that Gibraltar as Lucas is trying his best to play around the timing, and he gets the win, but the third party is here. Nestle Splash show up to finish that one off.
Dude, how long does it take for Gibraltar's shield to come back? That thing was like instantly. Lucas is over here putting in all these shots. The Gibraltar just doesn't die. You're hitting for 21 on the wingman. I mean, Gibraltar's just so strong in these situations that's even crazy that Lucas is able to win that one. But good job by Nestle Splash. And we knew that fight was going to take a very long time, that there was going to be three or four parties that are going to be involved. And the teams that are playing the edge are going to love what they see right now. About 6 or 7 death boxes to work with for Nestle Splash, and they're going to have any type of loot that they want. leaving here, and it's nice to see them all together as three collapsing on a fight, because every time that they're in fights, I feel like they've been one of the teams that are constantly getting third-partied. So it seems like they're taking their time, they're looting up, and coming in at the right time right there.
Yeah, there's a huge benefit for them, as well as it looks like they will be able to pick up the beacon while this zone will end right here on the edge. Of course, ring number 2 doesn't do too much damage, so if they want to, they can just camp around here and pick up the next ring info, which they might do. Team Pringles not move around much, as they do have this position at launch site held down. We're going to be joining on board with Team Intel, who are now making their way around. Of course, they're 50-50, slowing down their rotation, so they are just committing to the edge here, trying to find some squads out on the side. They already have 3 kill points. They would love to find more, and there is a team inside Harvester right now, Tom.
If I'm Intel, I kind of do like the 50-50 over towards Thermal side, because if you're able to win that every single time, you're looking at 18 points, but at the same time, like you said, it does slow down your rotation. So it depends on how fast they're going to be able to win those fights, but I like the situation right here. Having your back should be cleared towards that choke. It'd be interesting to see if does a late retreat into Thermal rotation. You can see all the actions directly in front of them, so they can kind of play this how they want to. A couple different teams in the area, they're hoping that they would actually fight. But while you're doing that, you have to still check your back for any things that crazy happens over here towards the choke area. So this is a good position for Intel to be in. Unfortunately for them, I don't think any of them have a sniper rifle. Maybe 6 does, but that's what you're going to need to have some sort of pick potential here.
Well, it looks like 2 brains, 1 controller in a fight now, but they're going to opt out of this one, which is the power of the Valkyrie. Not just rotations, but being able to get out of a bad fight real quick. Stuck on the low ground with the Arcstars coming in, they decide to just cut off this squad and play from a better angle, making their way over towards Sorting Factory now. You can see why Team Intel were a little bit more hesitant to try and take that push, even though they saw a res going down, but 2 brains, 1 controller catch themselves right in the middle of fire, but Tech will be able to secure a spot inside Sorting Factory, which should be safe for them to heal up and just recover here for now.
Valkyrie is just so much fun. I feel like if every legend is going to have utility like Valkyrie, or just, you know, they're going to continue to make these strong type of legends, Apex is going to get absolutely ridiculous. But this is ridiculous. The team is going to continue to push over towards 2 brains, 1 controller. This looks like just a 2-man Razor squad, but it looks like a third party over towards the side. So unfortunately for Razor, it doesn't seem like they have their full team. But it doesn't really matter. I mean, we've seen Serial take on 3v1s against some of the best teams, so I feel like they're still pretty confident here with their purple armor and their position that they're going to go and push in over towards this bubble. But Serial eats a lot of damage. That's about 170 over towards the side. That's going to be a battery for him. And then Hakula is going to sit there and watch. But the other team is scared. You can see player outlines that they're not necessarily scared, but more or less worried and aware of the potential of a third party coming through. So they do back off, and Team Razor is going to own this building temporarily, but is that a Watson fence? Okay, things are getting interesting.
Yeah, 2 brains, 1 controller playing with the Watson right now. And this is the importance of Team Razor posturing like they are a full 3. If 2 brains, 1 controller knew that this was just a 2-man, they would have turned around. If they played like they were a 2-man, they would have just turned around on them. But instead, Team Razor take the aggression to them and just make it seem like they're a full 3 with the confidence that they're playing with right now. And it does seem like in Banana, they might be sandwiched between 2 squads. They're going full on in. Serial on the front line. He's got the Spitfire, charges up with that stim, got the hipfire there onto the Gibraltar, but he does not do critical damage as he slides on back. Hakulo swaps out. They get a 1-for-1 exchange though, and now Serial has to call it here as he does back up for now to hit that bat. We'll see though if he continues this fight. It looks like the res is already getting stuck on the other side, and Team Razor nearly got the 2v3, but Serial is going to have to play this one out as a solo.
Tough situation because Serial put on so much pressure right there, and we're gonna have our first Tomcat Rat over here of the game. But I love the grenade, the thermite that he threw behind the Gibraltar, so the Gibraltar couldn't really retreat and was forced in directly towards where him and Hakula were. Unfortunately, this is Gibraltar, and he's just going to eat a ton of damage as the tank. And now Team Cheez-It, we're on board with them over towards the high ground, and we've seen this high ground choke. Nice shots coming in from Prodigy Aces, 100 damage onto the purple armor. Bubble is going to be used, and this is where Rakanishu is coming with the good timing. Also a little bit early there, the bubble still could be there, but that could be their own defensive bombardment as well, as that was actually Rakanishu's. He just tossed that one, so a little bit of visual clutter for Team Cheez-It, and that team does bail out of their position. So unlucky there for Team Cheez-It. Again, when you get the bubble down, you want to try to capitalize on that. Ult was a little bit early and not far enough for Rakanishu, but they still do own the space, and that's kind of the point, is you want to back these teams down to even more scarier positions for them to fight out of, and you still want to watch this choke over towards the side. So that's what Rakanishu's job is. They're not anticipating anyone running up over towards the Lava City side. They know Dome's clear. They're more worried about these two chokes coming out of the tunnel area and directly in front of them uphill.
And for Team Cheez, this is an area that they are very proficient of playing out of. A number of times they've been contested and have their rotation slowed down to get into launch. And so they know how to own this area and really play off of it. And they are owning a lot of the real estate here. We do see, of course, that ring continuing to pull away from them. It will be going over to launch, but like you said, Tom, they've alleviated a lot of the pressure. They'll have more options when it comes to rotations and make it much easier because they're not running that Valkyrie. It's not going to be, you know, just take to the skies and go wherever you want. You are limited to the distance that the Octane jump pad affords you, which is still quite a bit, like 200 meters or so. But owning all this real estate allows them to just really play with less pressure. They have their first early 3 kills as well from the early 50-50. So playing for the late game is definitely what they want to do here.
Yeah, for sure. And it makes me wonder, you know, which is a stronger legend really between Valkyrie and Octane. And I guess it just depends on, you know, how good your team is with each legend and how your main Slayer is going to be with that legend as well. Obviously, we saw what Serial is able to do on Octane. We see what Prodigy Ace is able to do here on the Octane as well. But in this type of situation, I really do feel like you would kind of want to, you know, bail out and get the high ground. At the same time, you could essentially just play the edge, and I think that's what they're going to do. They're just going to kind of bully the team down low. This team is in such a horrible spot that they're continuing to use their resources, and Rakanishu should be able to take advantage of this type of situation. So it's just going to be one more check for their back for Joey Blackout, probably a scan in about 10 seconds to make sure that this is fully clear. Once they get that information, then they're going to go and continue to pursue it. I'm not quite sure if that was a player outline of a rat crouching over towards the bottom. It could have been a rat. I think I see some people hiding right there. There are. We see the scan come through.
Yeah, we are at 14 squads. So one team actually playing it out as a solo, or as a duo, I believe. As they are getting flanked right now. Rakanishu and Prodigy Aces have to be careful. They do throw down that bubble, as they do have a duo above them right now. Back away once again, set up that angle. And so this is why it was so important to try and clear out this side as much as possible. If more contests come in, it becomes dangerous. Rakanishu, though, by himself is down to 1, as Team Intel now making a push over on this side of the Lava City tunnel. 6 just narrowly missing out, 1 on the right, but Metro is there as Hakulo will be taken out by Metro, and it looks like, yeah, Team Razor went for the res, and so now they're playing it out once again as a solo. So we have another Tomcat Rat running around, but Serial gets finished off by Team Lonely Fans. 00 negative to take him out.
And there's the high ground push coming in for Panders and Team Intel. They're in such a bad spot over towards this low ground. They're going to try to give him a little shimmy, yaw, and bail on out. And I do like this play. You need to do this a little bit earlier, but at the same time, they were just looking for their kill opportunities too, and hopefully they can find a spot going into the zone. Ping is coming down. They're looking for, which seems to be the old 2 Brains 1 controller spot, and a little bit of Watson coverage if you want to use it. We'll see if they elect to do so. And there's one of our open teams, 10K flat, actually taking a lot of damage. Team Content putting them down 1 by 1. Now it's up to Moon. Moon does take a really nice angle, but wow, just ripped apart over here. As Team Content, it's going to be turns and We the People coming in with the finish.
Yeah, they've got the port 2 to move along with the zone, but it's the third party coming out from Team Rice. Crispy, Stunny picking up 2 now. Turns. He's going to try his best to avoid a lot of this damage. He's dropped down to about 50 HP straight into another full 3-man squad. And he's about to get finished off here as GS Bird is looking to hunt him. But that presence of the third squad stops him from pushing. And they're safe to actually just hold this spot for now, pick up the loot here on the edge as well. Stunny taking a lot of damage from the ring, but he should be safe. Rice Krispie Treats. Excellent timing there as Team Intel got into a big fight. They've taken out 2 so far, and so this is looking, shaping up to be a very strong game for Team Intel. A team that is currently 49 points, 50 points off from securing the 4th place finish here in Season 2. So this is good signs for them.
Did Turns live is the question, because I don't know if I saw him get taken out in the kill feed, and he was 1 HP between 2 teams, so if he survived, he could be our rat of the day so far. As Team Intel, like we were talking about, Jamerson needs a big game, and they're looking for it. I think that 50-50 gave them that confidence in that warm-up fight that they needed to continue to add the aggression through. That's going to be Panders coming through with the knock onto Blight. That's going to be the EVA 8. 6 is there, playing in between the bubble. Metro takes a handful of damage, but that should be enough to come through and open things up. There's the bubble. That's the res coming through onto Metro, and it doesn't seem like there's going to be a third party in the area. So Team Intel is starting things off absolutely beautifully. And Jamerson, how many points were they down? About 50 or 60?
They're down about 50, I believe. 49 behind 5th place, 51 behind 4th place right now as we have another fight, and Nestle pushing up against RKT. It's down to a 1v2, and RKT clean that one up. Stunny bleeding out, though. There are the armor swaps for RKT to recover as well, but it looks like so much of the landscape has been whittled down. We're already down to 9 squads, 25 players remaining, but this is going to be a Hail Mary push coming out from RKT as they're making a blind rotate to the northern side of launch site. They don't know if a team's up there. They're just kind of banking. The team has already vacated that position. It's Turn still alive, so you were absolutely right, Tom. He has ratted it out to the top 9. We'll see how much longer he can survive as he's going in for that blind rotate with the Q. It looked like a lot was used on in there. Defensive bombardment going down. Turns narrowly dodged out on that one.
Look at Turns killing it right now as the lonely rat here for team content. We'll keep tabs on him a little bit later, see if he's able to survive, especially on the kill feed too as the teams are starting to rotate. But Rice Krispie Treats, we were talking about their blind rotation. This is tough because Tech just won. Ooh, he's so weak that he actually goes down to Panders right there over towards the side, and we have the zone coming too. So Team Intel continuing to lock things down from a priority position. They also own the high ground on the ledge, so this is great for Team Intel as the zone is going to show us where Zone 5 is going to go, and they're still in. So all these armor swaps are going to look great for Team Intel. And you can see the amount of kills and assists they already have. If they could finish this one off, we could be looking at a potential 30-point game over here, and that is exactly what they need to continue to try to push into Season 3 here of Series Z. Only 4 spots out of our 9 partnered teams, and Team Pringles sitting in first place. They've been looking fairly strong, but I mean, this game has been all Team Intel, and when you have those type of games for Team Intel, you need to be able to finish these off. So I'm kind of rooting for them that they can make this thing a little bit closer, because then we're going to get some great games out of Applejacks and Cheez-It as well, and we're already going to get some. So if Team Intel can add that pressure, the rest of the lobby is just going to get that much more interesting, and that could be the rat. It could be Turns doing what rat things do, hanging at the bottom of the map.
I love how Turns was just down there like, don't mind me. He's not even crouching, trying to make himself smaller. He's just making no noise whatsoever. Team Intel have been pushed. It looks like as Crispy Bacon was inside that building, they got the knock and instantly fall back as they were low. Team Cheez-It are still alive throughout all of this. They did try to come in for that third party. Turns does get finished off, so we are down to our top 6 squads as this ring will continue to pull down here to the south side of launch site. The time being, Team Cheez-It, one of the squads that are on the bubble as well, but it's Team Intel in this game, closing a lot of that ground right now. They're playing on the outside. As you can see, they've got a gold armor swap, triple red Evos as well, looking for that 30-point game. Here comes the drop down from Team Intel as they quickly change targets. They do lose out on Metro. Need to get him back up safely here. As you can see, they're covering the angles from the high ground, and luckily for them, the fight still continues outside, inside here. So no push out onto the vulnerable Team Intel. Another few points going their way.
Team Intel is out for blood right now. That's an aggressive play, and you love to see it. I think they're going to be A-okay getting back up that ramp as well, as they're able to finish that fight off just in time as we see Team Pringles make their way up over towards this high ground. You do have Flashpoint inside as well. Kubsky and his team are fighting inside with another team, but Team Intel, when you look at this, they have a team on the low ground, and they don't really have anyone that's directly on their back, so you love the position that they're in. They actually are going to get a couple of knocks onto Team North Stars, as Rakanishu is going to get the knock onto Kubsky. It's Prodigy Aces who's the weakest one, but he's still pushing through with the rest of his squad. Actually eats a shot over towards the side that knocks him, and the instant res comes out from Joey Blackout, as Rakanishu is going to lay down some cover fire and check the angles. Actually thinking about the defensive bombardment, but there comes Team Intel flying through, and oh my gosh, Panders with the R9.
Now they gotta suffer no losses here, and they have not, but there it is. 6 goes down. Team Pringles know this is their moment to strike. In the final 3v3, Panders clutches up and secures top 2 for them at the very least, but it's now down to a 2v3 as 6 goes down. Team Intel now with the 3v2. They got the knock off the Panders. It's just one left, and it's just Metro here, but Team Intel have done a massive job in this game. They take second overall, but they'll be first in points after game number 1. Team Pringles take the win here.
It's just a small mishap at the end for Team Intel. I mean, again, great game for them, but Six knew that they were steamrolling that fight. They've been backing off after the first knock for the last maybe 2 or 3 minutes over towards that last zone. It looked like they were trying to do the same thing, but Six wanted to continue to full send on that fight. I don't think everyone was on the same page. Once they were, you saw how fast they were able actually to finish that off. But once Six is already down, he's not able to get that armor swap. And if that is Team Pringles coming through for that cleanup, Team Pringles is sitting in first place for a reason, and they come through and take game number 1.
Yeah, Team Pringles cleaning up like they usually do. A little bit of slower gameplay coming out from them in stark contrast with what Team Intel has been doing over the last few weeks. We're going to go ahead and take a short break. When we get back, we'll have game number 2 of Series E here at Pringles Week right after this.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Phony here, and this is the Phony Stack. I got the 2 originals on the top and bottom for the buns. I got the cheddar one inside in the middle for the cheese. I got the lettuce right next to it, which is the sour cream and onion, and I got the barbecue right above it. The Phony Stack was amazing. They should make this into a flavor because the combination with all 4 of these combined is better than all of them by themselves, and that's just facts. If you guys are ever looking for Pringles or shopping for Pringles, just go ahead and go to walmart.com/esportsarena. I play Apex Legends for Team Pringles, and this is Pringles Week.
Versus coming daily under pressure. Working on the plot and the scheme, the true side trademark is at the edge of your dreams and talking. Yeah. One shot, now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. Your memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. With the bars in the place, I'm talking one chance, I was so good for the code. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Let's go. For favorite splash.
Stack Pringles flavors. Make new ones.
How much do you think Pringles paid these people?
Hardly anything. Hey, you guys want to stack different Pringles flavors to create new flavor combos? Here, I'll go first. Pizza, barbecue, and jalapeno. The spicy barbecue pizza stack. Get him!
Grandpa, what's going on?
Pringles. We're trapped in a Pringles commercial. They must have taken us in our sleep.
How can we get out?
We can't, Summer. They warned me this would happen, and I didn't listen. Stack Pringles, make endless new flavors. Stacking Pringles to make new flavors. Make endless new flavors. Barbecue, wavy, and sour cream and onion equals a 3-layer dip stack.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the final week here of Series E Season 2. It is Pringles Week, and what better way to start it off than with a Pringles win? Kicking off the day with a dub there, our first of 6 here today in our final 12 games of the season. Let's check out our post-game stats here for that first game. Definitely a fun way to start it off, and Pringles trying to lock in their first place position, and it looks all but secured. Pop-Tarts having to make up over a 100-point gap to close in on Pringles, and with that dub, it may just be enough to lock that in. Meanwhile, Team Razor trying to chase down Team Pop-Tarts. Pop-Tarts going out early in that game, and that gap is not that far. I mentioned at the top of the show, it was about 44 points between second and third place there for Pop-Tarts and Razor certainly has the ability, and they have the time now. Even with just 2 days left, they can close that gap, so that's definitely one we have to keep an eye on. Meanwhile, we got to see a bit of Team Cheez-It there. They're trying to grab away that 4th place spot from Team Applejacks. They had a solid game there as well, getting some kills. We got to see some action from them, so definitely a lot of stories to keep track on, as we'll just have those stats here in a moment for you folks. But definitely, I want to hear from you guys in Twitch chat. All these storylines to follow. Are you taking Team Cheez-Its or Applejacks for that 4th place spot? Do you think that Team Razor can catch up to Team Pop-Tarts and take away 2nd place? It doesn't seem like anybody will catch Team Pringles with the way they just consistently show up week after week after week, but can there be some changes in that 2nd to 5th place span? Let me know what you guys are thinking there in Twitch chat. It's going to be a fun day of action to continue to follow here as Pringles week continues. We'll have our post-game stats here for you guys a little later in the show, but we're going to head to a quick break as we get ready for game number 2.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Presley, and this is the Presley Pringle stack. Boom. Pizza on the bottom, pizza on the top, sweet and spicy barbecue somewhere in the middle, and then you also take the fire roasted jalapeno for that little extra tang. So let's go ahead and wow, that was beautiful. I think that will be the only way I eat Pringles from now on, is the Presley Pringle way. If you want to buy Pringles, head on over to walmart.com/esportsarena and you can cop yourself some Pringles. I play for Team Pringles and you're watching Pringles Week.
Imagine you love frosting and filling.
I do love frosting and filling.
Oh, well, imagine if there was a way to enjoy that delicious goodness anywhere, anytime, out of the toaster, out of the box, out of one of those baggy thingies, with nothing but a thin layer of foil between you and...
Pasta.
Yes, Curtis. This is a commercial about pasta.
I love it.
Frosting and filling for your pasta.
I like pesto.
I wasn't born in the spotlight. Nah. Had to grind and shine like a star on a hot night. And something about the struggle now resides in my muscles. And every trial and trouble helped to hang my hustle. Real rock stars don't chase the spotlight. It chases them.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Phony here, and today I'm going to be trying the sour cream and onions Pringles. Personally, this one's my favorite, considering not only does it taste really good, but it's one of the most popular ones out of the regular ones, which are original, barbecue, and cheddar. And I like this one the most just because it gives me that tanginess that I like. If you guys are ever looking for Pringles or shopping for Pringles, just go ahead and go to walmart.com/esportsarena. I play Apex Legends for Team Pringles, and this is Pringles Week.
All right, welcome back, guys, to Series E. Team Pringles took the first win of the week during Pringles Week. We'll see where they end up on the leaderboard. Let's take a look at the Mobile One leaderboard to see how many frags Team Intel were able to walk away with, because they had one monstrous game. And
Wow.
oh my God, is that a 21-point game for Team Intel?
Yeah,
A 21
I was
kill
about to
game,
be
excuse me.
That's a 21 kill game for Team Intel. They were absolutely going ridiculously ham, mopping a third of the lobby, over a third of the lobby. That is ridiculous. And if you're the team that started off 50-50, I wouldn't know if I'd continue going over towards Thermal Station after watching them just drop 21 kills on this lobby. We talked about it. Team Intel needed a big game, but you know what? That's actually going to put Team Applejacks right now outside looking in. I believe Team Cheez-It getting third place with 14 points is enough points to move them up. So this is how it's going to be over these next, how many games do we have? 11 games basically in the next 2 days. And it's just going to be back and forth. Again, the big question is, can Team Intel keep up this momentum? Because holy cow, that is insane.
Yeah, that means they've closed the gap to Team Applejacks by 25. They closed the gap to Team Cheez-It by 16. And if they keep up this pace, they might secure a spot in the top 4. Team Intel, they missed out on 6 points overall by not getting the dub and the final 3 kill points, but they don't need it. Take a look, 30 points. Team Pringles, though, did a great job with that win. They put themselves in second place, along with the 8 kill points they found. But we are seeing the kind of divergence in styles. Team Intel having found success off of their numerous aggressive games. And this is why you get those high fragging moments. And speaking of high fragging moments, let's take a look at the Mobile One high performance moment of game number 1, which there are just too many to count with the absolute pace that Team Intel were putting on here. It's Team Cheez-It trying to hold down their spot inside. As you can see on the kill feed, Panders is popping off.
Yeah, and then Prodigy Aces decides he was thinking about healing, and then all of a sudden over towards the side, Minnie's gonna hit him with one single EVA 8 shot while he was weak too, and that changes everything because the res has to come through, and then Rakinishu has to start taking some different angles, and you saw defensive bombardment in hand, but at this point he's not able to ADS with his shield, and that's the big thing for Gibraltar. He would have stayed alive just a little bit longer, and this is when Six sends it a little bit too far. The rest of his teammates were full shields. You could see everybody had full shields throughout all of that time. Six continues to full send it, and they just split up temporarily, and that's all Team Pringles needed. And I know you said they don't need the 6 points, but Jamerson, that would be great to have. I mean, because when you're down so many points right now, having 36 points, that would be probably one of our biggest games that we've ever had in Series Z. And Team Intel's done that sometimes where they've just really, really popped off. And maybe it's this type of instance where they need their back against the wall to kind of play their best. And maybe that's, you know, the type of team they are, but you never really know. They've also made improvements throughout all of this time. So if they're gelling at this time, this is the best time to have your A game, right? Right when we're going into the last week in the finals of Series E, right when we're going into the biggest tournament in Apex we've seen in a very long time, if not ever. So this is great gameplay coming out of Team Intel.
Yeah, I believe the highest game we've ever had so far throughout the 2 seasons of Series E, it was Season 1. Team Sentinels had like a 37-point game, I believe, a 25-kill game in one game so far. But that was definitely Team Intel trying to break that record as we are heading into game number 2. We'll be joining aboard along with Team Pringles, who did take the dub in game number 1. We'll see, though, if Team Intel can continue to ride that momentum off of the back of game number 1. It looks like Team Pop-Tarts are getting challenged over by Geyser, so we should keep an eye on that as well. And it doesn't seem like much is changing. Team Intel might be getting challenged once again. We'll find out in just a moment, though. It's Team XOXO that do have position over here as the fight's breaking out, and they do have one knock so far, or at least they've lost out on one. They are up top. Team Pop-Tarts making their push, though, as now they're pushing in as a full 3. Lucas is low, and they catch him on the res. Gets the re-knock onto 1, but Impulse has taken a lot of damage here. Does have the bubble from his squad as Stomps takes out Turns, and now it's down to the 2v1.
Yeah, I like to see an armor swap or heal either way here for Impulse throughout all this, but he gets ripped throughout all of that. Corey is going to come through with the alternator, and you can see the lack of ammo. He's going to pick some up. He's going to get some thirst over towards the side, maybe even try to swap something out, and then he's going with Havoc Wingman. So Stomps is going absolutely nutty during this fight, and they're just watching him loot the dead bodies as Turns is a little upset that he gets finished because he was trying to rat it out again to another good performance. You could see you could actually see the shadow of the player above him on the door there while he was on the roof, which is pretty interesting information for Corey. He's going to actually drop down, get that respawn beacon, try to pick up some loot along the way. Picks up the Havoc. Looks like he was running out of ammo, and he is. Only 7 shots left in this alternator. Tough spot to be in for Corey.
Nades out now as he goes for that fast res, going for the peak now. Corey almost cracked on his shields. He did some decent damage to that jib, but goes for the re-peak now as he drops, stomps, hits the heady, and takes him out. Pop-Tarts, they're going to be able to win out on this fight, but they need to recover quickly here with 1:40 to go. I'm going to imagine that teams are going to start rotating in now. They should be able to get the res onto Lucas, who crawled his way all the way over to the redeploy. And it seems that Team Intel are not going to get the 50-50. It was that Revenant squad, Uxako and company, that ended up challenging them, but they're in a fight with a different squad here. So Team Intel not going to find the early game kill points like they did in game number 1. Here's Team Razor. They do have a full 3 on move filling in for the day.
Yeah, Amu, one of my favorite players to play with, and he's going to actually see his team go down, and that's going to be Pog. Pog and Rocker, Crook, and Zenile, a very, very solid squad. And you can see the other players in the area, too, just getting that loot. Skyhook is not a spot that you would typically see contested very rarely in game number 1, but in game number 2, if you don't have a spot, it's a perfect spot to go to because it can house so many different teams, and Team Razor typically gets a lot of freedom over there in terms of sometimes they even get trials and all of Skyhook to themselves. So Team OnlyFans going to take the high ground rotation here over towards the fragment side. They have a little bit of time to decide exactly what they want to do. Now they're going to drop up off of the roof, Mission Impossible style, and Blight's going to take flight over here towards the center building, and I don't see really anybody in the vicinity quite yet. It's going to be Applejacks coming in with the Kung Fu Fighting Aves with the knockout right there. And they're going to be rewarded with some loot over towards the tree side. So that's going to be North Star, one of our open teams coming through. And we know how experienced Applejacks is fighting over towards this tree side. So it's not that unlikely that they would win this fight.
Yeah, we're already down to 17 squads before this ring even starts closing now as the scan comes out from Team Applejacks with the 50-50. They might not have had the opportunity to pick up that beacon quite yet. Roller should rejoin them, and it looks like Zaniles will be able to finish off Uzako, so we are now down to 16 full squads remaining already. We thought maybe the game would be a little bit slow here, but Team Intel keeping up the pace. Now they found one on the rotation up, and there's a full 3v1 here on the high ground now. But Panders gets the scan from Metro, sees them dropping down. They've already gone the knock onto JBS, and I'll be able to find a second one shortly as they go full send onto this player here. We'll be able to get the knock onto Jean Gon. Now he'll be able to rejoin his squad up top. That's going to be another 3 kill points going over towards, or at least 2 kill points going. Nope, never mind. The names are so confusing because it's just a blur of letters and numbers. But yeah, it's going to be another 3 kill points for Team Intel.
Come on, James. Those are like elite gamer tags, man. Like once you see that, like, you know that you should be scared. But Team Intel, they're not scared. They have Team Intel in front of their name. So they're trying to, they also have 30 points next to their name as well. So they're trying to add on to that point total that they have. And you can see a little wall bouncing coming through for Metro. And I'm curious to see why that team came over towards that side. It could have been an unorthodox rotation, or Intel could have been hunting them the entire time that they were over towards that thermal station side. And it looks like they're going to be playing the edge over here, looking for any teams that are coming over towards on top of the train tracks. And right now, I don't think Metro sees anybody, but he does see potential of players that were in front of him because he is playing Bloodhound and he's waiting for his scan to come back any second now. And once that happens, they'll advance for a little bit further, scan over towards that side, and then decide if they want to go and take that fight. So nice job by Team Intel, continuing where they started in game number 1.
It's going to be difficult for them to keep that momentum up, though, because at this point, the ring is starting to pull more central. In the last game, we saw how hard it pulled down to the south towards launch. Team Intel were able to try and play the northern side where a lot of the funnel was happening. But this time around, the south side is going to be a little bit scarce. We'll see. They find the proper rotation to find the frags that they want, as it looks like it might be coming up on a squad very shortly. Up here on the northern side of the map, though, over at Skyhook, it looks like we still have a fight. Team Pog got a team pinned down. Moon is the first one to go down on the other side as the Nile is looking for more. He's got the backup of Crook, and they will be able to finish off this squad. We're now down to 14 teams. Team Pog with at least 4 kills to their name now.
Pog's starting to heat up over here towards the Skyhook side. That's 2 solid teams back-to-back that they're taking out. But not only that, they're doing it fairly clean. You're not seeing any mishaps. Everyone's fighting together. The shots are looking really good. Zanile's taking some really good angles and has some solid tracking. And now more pings coming down. I mean, it's really weird that the action is happening on this side of the map instead of more central like you were talking about. But I do think that teams switched up their landing spots from game number 1 to game number 2, and this is why things are popping off over towards here. And so I'll take some shots over towards the side by the team that's sitting in the train tracks. And Cook's like, no, that's what my teammate's going. You can't do that. But all right, I'll give you respect now. Okay, 100 damage. I'll back off. Hit the battery. Everyone doing a great job baiting and switching as we switch between each player. You can see once they take that armor damage, they're going to fall back, hit the battery. Then one person's going to come right back, switch, and then that's how you do that. So great job by Pog right now, using all of their resources. But the other team's putting up a pretty solid fight as well. Amazing shots there coming in from Rocker. Starts with ADS, then switches, and then goes with the hip fire. And this is going to be Team R99. That's going to be a quick finish there for Pog. And you can see, again, Jamerson, just look at their shields. They refuse to take more than 100 damage each. They're going to fall back and hit batteries. That's why batteries are so important in these fights instead of cells. And now that you know that there's nobody in the vicinity, that's when you go and hit your slow heals and get back into this one. So Pog with flawless execution in those team fights.
It was great watching them walk them back. You saw slowly forcing them back into an angle they could really fight off of here. Now they are the kill leaders. They have at least 6 kills to their name, might have more. So they are doing what Team Intel were able to do in game number 1. We do have round number 2, though. 2 minutes to close, and we haven't been able to pick up that info quite yet. We'll see if Pog are able to pick that one up for themselves. Skyhook should be largely free, but we'll have to take a moment as the team really does have to take a moment for a breather. Oh, there's a squad just coming up behind them now. This is going to be more kill points for them if they can successfully manage this fight, and they're going to try it just from the opposite side, Tom. Again, spading and switching, swapping out priority targets, going in for the flank now as Rocker all the way on the right-hand side to get this off angle for his team. Finally, damage does connect through, almost getting that crack onto the blue shield, putting on the pressure. Now they've got the jump pad as well. Rocker's going to go ahead and full send it into that one. But Think's a little bit more cautious of that as they do have the full roof, and it's multiple showing up at this point now. Rocker will get another angle now, swapping off from the right all the way to the left here. Has someone above him dropping down now. Beautiful scan out from Zaniles as well, giving him that information. They have backed away all the way into this building, and now Rocker is on the hunt, pushing up as the rest of his squad making their way on in. A full team caught out in the middle there. They're going to be able to clean this one up. That's Applejacks going down.
Team Applejacks thought that they had a third party, but then all of a sudden Pog just sends it right back over towards them. Nicely splashed, only has 2 players left. Ronnie's over here hitting a full battery. Bambino's trying to do what he can with the PK, hitting some good shots, but that's going to be Kubsky coming in, and that's going to be the finish as well as Team XOXO hits the third party. So we had a very slow game number 1 compared to what we've had in game number 2. Over half of the squads eliminated over here. More coming in over towards the side on both of these fights. So everybody trying to get into this action as Prodigy Aces, Rakanishu, and Team Cheez-It enter the fray as well, and Crook's on the run. There's plenty of death boxes over here if you needed some loot, and Rice Krispies is in the area too. So there's so much action here on World's Edge. That was what, a 4th, 5th party on both sides of the map.
Yeah, we are already down to 8 squads, 22 players left, so I think one rat might be running around at this point. Rice Krispie Treats, though, the ultimate winners over here at Skyhook now, picking up all this loot, but oh, you gotta be careful. There's Bird. Took a lot of damage. We'll throw down that shield to continue looting out. He'll swap off onto an armor that's further away from the Evo, but it is at least full health for himself as they are still trying to recover. Defensive bombardment, just in case, to clear that roof. Not getting much off, but now they are forced out of position. That arc start pushing them out. Bird holding the door for now, but he's getting peeked from 2 separate angles. Has to back away once again. His armor cracked nearly, but it looks like they do hold on for the time being. Very tense situation here. We don't know if another team might show up. We've had so much action for some reason taking place over here at Skyhook, and Bird gets peeked now, but he's got a lot of cover behind those death boxes, and his team is there to try to trade away damage. Text is the one to go down, and Team Intel is the one to show up. They do get one knock onto Metro, but Team Intel will be able to finish them off, and now they are the ones that won out here in Skyhook. You can see Panders throwing down that armor swap for Metro as well, being cognizant of a quite possible 7th party in this situation.
There's so many teams over here, and we were wondering when Intel was going to get involved, and they finally come through as the 7th or 8th team that was involved. But a lot of good teams were taken out along the way, and I think that, I'm not sure if Team Cheez-It was able to make it out alive. I think that they could have been taken out. We saw Applejacks was taken out in the beginning of that fight, and those are the teams that Team Intel need out. And when you're looking at the kill feed, you have to be stoked about what you're seeing right there. If you are on Team Intel, we do see Team XOXO ratting it out over towards the back of the map here. It's going to be Sam C, and Sam is looking pretty solid in terms of being able to get out. You have obviously the rotation here with the balloon, but you also have the Valkyrie ultimate if you want to go and do that. So should be able to live for a little bit. I mean, it's been so fast paced, you never know if Sam C is going to make it to top 2 in the next 1 minute.
Gonna hit that redeploy, but it's actually gonna be straight into Team Intel, and he thinks better of it and turns right back around. This is, of course, still fairly early on in the game, so he's not taking too much damage. You can see the ring pulling away now. Team Pop-Tarts already in position over here by Survey Camp, and they do have the eastern side held down, so that affords them all these high ground angles to play off of. Here's Team Intel, though, starting to make their way on in. They've got a full squad ahead of them. Excuse me, above them is Panders. A lot of damage there. One stuck up inside the sniper post, and 6 is going to try and force them out with that defensive bombardment. But you can see, it looks like the player might have gone out, but we'll find out if Panders can get out of this sticky situation, kind of stuck behind cover, or if this is a solo here. It's so hard to tell, but it looked like some shots were coming in from inside the tunnel, and it looks like with the X-ray, we do see some players playing off of that. And so Team Intel are just going to back away from now. They still have another 40 seconds left to go, and they don't have the full commit onto this. As you can see, they have multiple ways to get into the next zone, and multiple spots to play off of that they don't have to funnel into one position.
I want to see Metro hit another scan there, and he does. No hostiles, so that means that player did leave off of the top, most likely back to the team. White gets the knock on to Prodigy Aces, and it looks like this could be the fight that Intel could be collapsing on, and that's going to be Team Cheez It in the kill feed, so they're going to love that this team is currently down a couple players. It's only up to Joey Blackout. The shots are looking phenomenal. There's a third party, though, from Team Intel.
And Team Intel will be able to clean that one up, and they take out Rakanishu, the last member alive, I believe, for Team Cheez It. Six taking a lot of damage. He's getting a hit up from the side. Joey Blackout, once again, is the bane to Six's existence. Here's Team Pringles to show up for the third party. We're down to 4 squads, 10 players remaining. I believe the Rat is still alive, but Phony doesn't have the backup of his squad. And so Team Intel will live to fight another day, unless the Presley finds another knock here, but it looks like Team Intel will be able to full recover. It's gonna come down to a 3v3v3v1 in this final endgame. Team Pringles, Team Intel, with Sam C, I believe, still alive as the Rats. Well, we don't know who the third team is. I believe it's Team Pop-Tarts, actually, that are still on the eastern edge.
And that's just really unfortunate for Team Pringles that not everybody was in position, because the scan came through. It's actually Team Rockstar that's the last team when we were talking about it. But Team Pringles was in such a great spot, but not all 3 players, as Panders is going to come through and take down Sam C. Nice job by Sam C, ratting it out to top 4.
Now it is the final 3v3 as the ring pulls down to the south of this tunnel. Team Intel will have a lot of cover to play off of. If they want to, they can try and swing over to the other side, but I imagine they're going to want to play here instead. We'll have a lot more cover to work off of. All of these train track wreckage for themselves as Team Pringles. They're trying to hold a lot of this ground here. As you can see, it's actually Team Rockstar that are playing out of Survey Camp currently. And so with this final 2 rings, it should slow down a bit. It is the 3v3. No teams are really going to be forced to engage quite yet. So we're going to have a nice 4 or 5 minutes while the teams try to approach these fights.
But you know what's going to be crazy, Jamerson? If Intel wins this game, we're looking at them drop 50 points in 2 games. And they were down 50 points. So this could be Team Intel making this just the most ridiculous race we've ever seen, where there's going to be 3 teams basically fighting it out for 1 spot. But you know, if Intel keeps up this pace, they're winning Series E. They're taking the #1 spot from Team Pringles. Okay, so let's make sure that, you know, someone shuts them down here, because they are looking so good. But it's not that surprising that the teams that are sitting at the top of the leaderboard are kind of the teams that are showing up in the final zones here. Is unorthodoxly enough and strangely enough, they're gonna dip out and elect to not play that little train card that you're talking about, and they're gonna go over towards the outside instead. And Cheese Fries, I thought he was hit with something, but I think it was just a little bit of a missile barrage. And there's the push coming in for Team Intel. They've actually put themselves in between both teams, but if they could keep their back safe and play some cover in front of them, maybe, just maybe, Team Rockstar will get a little too aggressive.
I agree. This is a little bit strange because Team Intel, they had all the armor swaps. There was a lot of fighting. There were 6 death boxes at least inside that tunnel. That's 6 armor swaps that they could have been playing off of. Now they moved themselves away from that loot. We'll see if this ring pulls in their favor for now, but like you said, you can see the pressure being put onto them. Fury's got an angle set up on the left, Oi Senpai on the right. Now Team Intel, they're basically back in the same position they were beforehand, but now they don't have the armor swaps, and now they're taking so much damage. Oi Senpai does finally drop down, though, as they do get cracked, and they do alleviate some of the pressure, but they're still back in that same position.
They need to get back into that train car. I feel like that was the better position with all the armor swaps that you were talking about, but the way that Intel's playing it, I feel like there wasn't enough angles for them, and then they're outside realizing that there really wasn't enough angles for them in general. So they have done a decent job of kind of regrouping and pushing back to what we were talking about. Directly under that giant apex banner would be a good spot, because again, if the team's over towards the side, if Team Pringles gets interested into Team Rockstar, that could be your opportunity to kind of go and push in throughout all of this. And in my opinion, it really depends on the Gibraltars here. Yes, you want to hit your shots, and it depends on all of the players on the team. but it's about when your bubble placement comes down. It's about when your defensive bombardment hits as well. If anyone lays down some crazy initial damage, we could see something fairly interesting. But even if there was like a Kraber knock at this instance, I don't feel like a team would even push on that because they're going to have enough respect for the players in the lobby.
You know, the call for Team Intel paying off for them. As you can see, the ring does pull away, and now they are the ones in the driver's seat for this. We'll see if Team Pringles can hold this position down, as Rockstar are the ones that are on the edge. They are not safe within the zone. It does look like Fury in the spot that he's in. He is safe, but Phony and DePresley are going to have to drop down to rejoin his squad. Phony keeping an eye on Team Rockstar right now, and so he's still playing off the charge rifle. There's only 2 shots left. He might not have a second gun to swap off of either, and the options here for Team Pringles fighting at close range are very limited. Now, he does have that bow check bow, and he does have the flatline. We'll see if he can try and get these knocks here, and it looks like Team Pringles might try to go full send it onto Team Rockstar as they are getting ready to even throw down that defensive bombardment just in case. The defensive bombardment goes down onto them, and DePresley hits a nice shot with that bow check bow, keeping Team Intel in check. Another shot for the 51. So that's going to force Team Intel to heal up at the very least, but it's coming down to this. It looks like with the utility used by Team Rockstar, we're going to have the final circle closing in very slowly here. Who is it going to favor? This
Intel.
one goes straight into the middle.
It's kind of over towards where Intel is, though, in my opinion, because I think they kind of predicted this, and that's why the rotation came outside, and they wanted to continue to own this. And really the hardest part of this is over for Team Intel, and they've done a phenomenal job. And you can see the amount of different angles that they have outside instead of being in that train tunnel where they were all filtered, and under the bridge is not a good spot to be. So they decided, okay, if we can just kind of own this real estate, and then we'll end up forcing these 2 teams into each other. And now you see just how close Rockstar and Team Pringles actually are, with Team Intel now owning a majority of this area.
Defensive bombardment's going down from either side now as Trinal tries to find an off angle here on the left-hand side. He does spot them through the fences. Another barrage of those missiles, this time coming out from Team Intel. It's Cheese Fries and Trinal here on the left-hand flank, trying to find anything as the slow ring will start moving in. Can Team Intel corral these 2 squads to commit onto each other? You can see the amount of space being controlled by them. 6 on a very far off angle here on the right-hand side, trying to get that first peek. Team Pringles are going to be forced out of their spot very shortly here. Does that leave an opening for Rockstar to come in from the north?
It's so important for 6 to land a couple of these wingman shots as these players start to rotate towards him. And there he does. He lands with 2 in a row, gets his shield popped, and then if he needs to go and use the bubble, he can. Even hits a little sliding 45, and that's the damage that forces Team Pringles on over to Team Rockstar. They were trying to test which side that we can go over towards. Intel says no. 6 owns that spot and does it great with the wingman, and now the third party is going to come through. Pringles is on the ropes over towards the side. 6 actually gets a knock on the Cheese Fries, so that could be one more KP for them along the way. And we'll see how slow Team Intel actually wants to play this now, because Pringles is going to start to full heal, and we know the discipline that comes through as the zone is continuing to close directly on him here. And what are they going to do on the Team Pringles side? They don't have their bubble for about 8 seconds, so they're just slow playing this one until that opportunity comes. 3 more seconds and they can advance.
Trying to find any cover they can, the tiniest rock there, as the bubble is up for Team Pringles, but they have not been able to fully recover here. Rockstar coming in from behind as well. Looks like they were able to quite possibly get the res now, as both teams now trying to full send it onto this one. Now they've lost it out, as the armor situation is looking so good now. Team Intel are going to go for the full send. They got the knock, and they finish out Team Pringles, and now they'll go ahead and turn their attention to the other side. Team Rockstar will go down in just a moment, unless Trinal has anything to say about it. But there it is. Team Intel get the win that they've been looking for, and this is a huge start for Team Intel. 2 games in a row.
Uh-oh, things are getting interesting. And I don't know if in 2 games I've seen 50 points put up by really anybody ever in Apex in competitive tournament format, especially when we're looking at a finals like today. So that's just a great job by Team Intel. They are showing so many different ways that they could play Apex. They could take their 50-50s over towards the side. They know when to avoid the third parties. They know how to come in and be the third party. And then they know how to take control of these very slow situations that are tough to navigate. And you could see all the teams really playing that the correct way. It's a matter of which zone are you going to get, which way is that going to pull. Team Intel calls it the right way. Not only that, they execute it the correct way as well.
And this is basically just living up to the expectations that you and I had at the beginning of the season, Tom. They are finally living up to it, cleaning up a lot of the mistakes that really plagued them throughout the early and the mid-season of Series E. I think they might have just done enough to break into the top 4 here. We'll have to find out, though. We're going to take a short break. When we get back, we'll take a look at the leaderboards after this.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Presley here, and I'm about to try the pizza-flavored Pringles. Beautiful. It honestly tastes like I'm just eating an entire pizza right now. If you want to buy Pringles, head on over to walmart.com/esportsarena and you can cop yourself some Pringles. I play for Team Pringles and you're watching Pringles Week.
Hey, shake it, kiddo. Love Dad. Whoa.
I've got this. Kellogg's Rice Krispies treats. A little love when it's needed.
What's up, it's Fury, and if you want to play like me, you gotta snack like me.
Getting that onto Wizzy now. Rambo did take a lot of damage. Here's the bow check bow for Fury. He pushes up his for the 63, and they get the knock onto Nate.
Up Tartu, once again, playing Encircle, by the way, playing very slowly. And meanwhile, Pringles, on the other end of things, not playing so slowly. They are...
For all your Pringles products, make sure you head over to walmart.com/esportsarena. I play Apex Legends for Team Pringles, and you're watching Pringles Week.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back here to Pringles Week on Series E, as it is the final week of Season 2, and Team Intel with an extremely strong start to the day, grabbing the second game here, and it appears to be a two-horse race here in open night through 2 games. Team Pringles and Team Intel leading the charge, both of them in that top 3. Pringles wasn't able to finish it off, dropping in 3rd place, and Intel grabs the win. Let's check out our post-game stats here for our second game of the day. 6 leading the way for Team Intel, and Panders with a pop-off performance, grabbing kill leader in that second game. 8 kills for him, over 2,100 damage in that second game, and Team Intel is just chugging along. You heard T-Squared mention it before going to the break that he's never seen a team grab 50 points in just 2 games in Apex ever, and we already know that Team Intel has done that at the very least. They had 30 points after the first game, and they got at least another 20 here just from placement points and kills there for Panders alone. So it's an impressive start for Team Intel, and they're just trying to make it back-to-back open night victories. Would certainly be an impressive feat. We saw Team Razor take 3 of 4 earlier on the season, 2 in a row at a certain point. So Intel trying to match what Razor was able to do earlier on in the season. We'll have to see if they can keep the train rolling in Game 3. And don't miss out on halftime today, as I will break down another one of my candidates for the Mobile One High Performance Player of the Season. We'll be back in just a few.
So I usually play Octane for my team because his paths are very versatile and you can get easy rotates. And since I'm playing Octane and I go fast, I usually like running like an R3 or PK or just any decent mid-range gun and a shotgun.
Some of our open teams here, basically just looking and hunting them down. I love the counterplay to throw 2 grenades down at once. One player tosses one. Nice shots coming in for Fury. Looks like he's using the Kraber, but no, that's just the bow. And is this thing nerfed? Forward rotation had a little bit of a difficult time. Had to go back and heal. As it doesn't matter for Team Pringles. They're not going to heal. They're going to continue to push.
I mean, we don't really play edge or center zone. We like vary depending on the lobby. Like if we see the lobbies like dying out super fast and we're missing out on so many free kills, sometimes we'll just start playing edge. But if it's just a chill lobby and nobody's like our W king, we'll just play center zone and just take the dubs. For all your Pringles products, make sure you head over to walmart.com/esportsarena. I play Apex Legends for Team Pringles, and you're watching Pringles Week.
It's Kellogg's, Fruit Loops, Apple Jacks, Corn Pops, Tiger Paws. They're Jumbo.
Jumbo snacks, snack time heroes. Gonna take them on the go. Eat your cereal, magnified, showing up for snacking time. Jumbo snacks, snack time heroes. Gonna take them on the go.
It's Jumbo. It's for snacking. It's Jumbo Snacks.
Stack Pringles flavors. Make new ones.
How much do you think Pringles paid these people?
Hardly anything. Hey, you guys want to stack different Pringles flavors to create new flavor combos? Here, I'll go first. Pizza, barbecue, and jalapeno. The spicy barbecue pizza stack. Get him!
Grandpa, what's going on?
Pringles. We're trapped in a Pringles commercial. They must have taken us in our sleep.
How can we get out?
We can't, Summer. They warned me this would happen, and I didn't listen. Stack Pringles, make endless new flavors. Stacking Pringles to make new flavors. Make endless new flavors. Barbecue, wavy, and sour cream and onion equals a 3-layer dip stack.
Welcome back, guys, to Series E. It is Pringles Week, the final week of Series E, and Team Pringles are having a rough go of it as they, it's been Team Intel that have been really slaying out in these last 2 games, but it's been consistent for them so far. So let's go ahead and take a look at the leaderboard to see where they stand now. But with Team Intel having 2 monstrous games in a row, that's going to be a 30-point game in game number 1 and a 29-point game in game number 2. Team Pringles, though, find themselves in second place with 27 points overall.
Yeah, let's take a look at the cumulative leaderboard to find out exactly where Team Intel fits now, because 59 points is absolutely insane after 2 games. We've seen that after 6 games, okay? So to be able to pull that off is ridiculous, and we're tallying that up right now, but it's really up to Team Cheez-It and Applejacks to fend them off, and that was the leaderboard that we had before, so this is going to continue to populate throughout the night. And remember that they were down 51 points overall. They just accumulated 59 points in 2 games, so that's definitely going to change moving forward, and Team Intel could be in 4th spot right now.
Yeah, it's very close. Team Applejacks did put some points on the board as well as Team Cheez-It. But let's go ahead and take a look at the Mobile One high performance moment from game number 2. As we had lots of them, but this might just be that final 3v3. As you can see, Team Pringles find themselves in the final 3 once again. But this time around is Team Intel with just that excellent shot calling. We thought maybe leaving the train tunnels early on was a mistake, but no, they get the priority position here, and they just play this one out expertly.
It looked like a mistake once they ended up right back where they started, just without the armor swaps, right? But it was more of them kind of holding a lot of different angles and adding pressure so they could have more of a presence for the rest of these teams not to rotate into their area. And then you can see the way that they're able to execute the final fights. Really, one of the biggest moments was when Six was able to add pressure onto Pringles with the wingman. And we were saying, all right, he needs to connect on his shots right now. And he hits for back-to-back shots without missing any. And then he slides down and hits one more on Team Rockstar just to boot. And you can see Rockstar is sitting there working with their 2-man team, trying to wait for their bubble to come back. Senpai's going to toss that one down, but Team Intel mops so fast. And then you can see by the time that they're even armor swapping, Six is ready inside of the enemy bubble, laying down some serious fire. Metro gets finished off, but him and Panders are full shields throughout all of that. And they understood the situation that Rockstar was just a 2-man team, so they just continue to add that aggression. And 59 points after 2 games just goes to show you how well they're playing, but also how bad they want to continue to improve and how bad they want to actually stay in Series E going into Season 3, because this is a completely different Team Intel that we've ever seen before. I mean, the way that they're executing right now is some really high-end stuff. I mean, we were talking about teams that could potentially win a tournament. Team Intel has to be in that conversation literally just off of these 2 games.
38 kill points across the last 2 games. That's just the first 2 games of the day. We still have 4 more to go. We were talking about, of course, how they're avoiding a lot of the mistakes that we saw just a few weeks ago now. I mean, in game number 1, we saw that after they won their 50-50, they rotated north and they found out, I believe it was 2 brains, 1 controller. They were inside Harvester, but they decided to bide their time because of the third parties that were in the area. And so they cleaned up and shored up a lot of those mistakes, and it is paying off for them. They've learned from their mistakes in the past, and now we're seeing them on the verge of securing a spot into Season 3.
They're thinking on all different levels right now too. I mean, they're thinking so fast, but they're also willing to take things slow when they need to. And their shot calling has to be constantly situational in all of these times, because the map is constantly changing based on how good these players are and the awkward positions that they put you in to have to fight your way out of. And Team Intel is, sometimes the best thing to do is just to avoid a fight, just like you were talking about, and look for other opportunities on the map. And I felt like Intel before would see some teams be confident in taking a fight, take a fight, and not necessarily know if a third party was coming. Here it seems to be a lot more calculated risk. They're coming through, and not only that, backing off when they need to. They're getting knocks and falling back and kind of taking things one by one in terms of their baiting and switching, which is what you need to do. And they started off hot with the early 50-50. Not only that, they scared that team so much that they didn't get 50-50'd after that. So they're going to be able to focus on the rotations and how that's going to go and be for them going forward. But I really like, again, the way that they're playing patient, and I think that they found themselves a really nice pace of Apex that they're playing right now.
Here we go, dropping into game number 3. Oh, lordy, already picking up the purple backpack for themselves. So a great start along with the blue armor, excuse me. So it's going to be 2 blues so far as they continue their looting path, but it's Team XO currently in a fight. It just always seems to be the case. It doesn't matter if it's pro night or if it's open night. Fight's going to be taking place over here by Epicenter now as Sam C goes in for the slide. Turn's already got 1 knock, and there it is. They pick up the first 3. Team Pop-Tarts, though, once again on this 50-50. They are on the wrong side of it here, as they've already lost out on 2. The thirst has come down as well, and Lucas is going to be the first rat of game number 3.
Tough situation for Lucas, because so early in the game that those banners are going to be expired by the time that you want to go and make your rotation back. So the really only thing that he could do would be maybe to run away, try to hit the balloon over towards Sorting Factory, and then do something crazy and fly in very last second and try to be the savior here. But just with his gray armor that he came out of the ship with and not very many resources, so it's going to be tough for him. And also there's already teams over towards Sorting Factory, possibly 2 of them, the way that North Star is running around, and it looks like they probably came off a rotation. I feel like they would have had better loot if they landed over towards the Sorting Factory side, and they're trucking it over towards the north area of the map because it looks like that zone is going to continue to pull up there, and it is. So we're going to have a major fight for that Skyhook beacon building, and this could be one of those market endings over here towards that top of the map.
Importantly, though, it's all going to be about the rotations with our 3 teams that are on the bubble. They're all coming up from the south side of the map. And so we have to keep an eye on Intel, Applejacks, and Cheez-It as they make their rotate through. Looks like Rapid 99 find themselves in a fight over here at Refinery right now, as they got a first knock and they got the thirst onto Sam C. And so out of the fire, now straight into another fight. It's going to be 2 hostiles detected as the scan's already gone down, and they're going to go ahead and full send it up this hill. But so much time has elapsed. They might have gone the res already and healed up, so this might be full 3v3. You'll find out in just a moment, though, as they continue to go for the peak. Zuni's crosshair placement, not the greatest there, as he was nowhere near that target. They've lost out on 1. Rapid 99 force themselves onto the same cover. Now they are getting pushed, as you can see. The flank out from Tide Pods. He does answer back, taking out Malice Mamba, but it's down to, might be a 1v1 here. And so he might have never gone the res on the other side as the bubbles goes down. Tide Pods with that arm shield will be able to win out in the 1v1. and secure that for themselves, but they still need to recover and get the res onto the other 2 members, as it looks like it will be safe to do so.
Tide Pods are deadly, man. He did a good job of, staying alive using his arm shield, and unfortunately they didn't have a good advance up that hill, but fighting uphill battles are always fairly difficult. You're going to need your bubble to go and do that, and it was very nicely, placed grenade, a good thermite, that forced them behind that rock, but they're a little bit worried of a third party right now. You can see JBS is in the vicinity, and a lot of our open teams really starting to filter now towards the back of the map. They understand they need some kill points, they want to get involved, and this is the most opportunity and most action we've seen towards the back of the map so far. So with that rotation being over towards the Skyhook area, these teams feel like they still have a little bit of time to fight, but JBS is more interested in running away right now because it looks like they are getting a third and fourth party involved.
Yeah, so they'll just take to the skies. It's going to be the flight of the Valkyries here, and they should be able to make their way over to Skyhook, but it's right. RKT currently in a fight, and 00 Negative actually got a knock onto one of them with the bow check bow mid-air, so Team Lonely fans are ready to just pounce upon that. RKT, though, it looks like they will port out from this fight. No, he's going for the straight chase now, as he might actually get the kidnap. As he does have to fall back, Text drop down low, but he should have the rest of his squad here to try and cover for this. No, it's going to be 3 teams in the area for this fight, and just the presence of a lot of these fighters allows them the time to actually full heal up. He gets the Phoenix kit off, and RKT will be ready to go for the repeat now, but Serial along with Zara Tricky will make short work of RKT and finish them off.
I was really hoping that Tech was going to go and use the portal to block the door, and the portal ends up being taken by the other team. Pog is setting it over towards the side. That was Rocker who just absolutely psycho yeets it into the Wraith portal that wasn't even his, as they were the team that was trying to get kidnapped, and Team Pog is going to back off over towards this fight. Razor did a good job of cleaning up, but I definitely would have loved to see one of those doors get blocked there. I don't think that they were understanding the situation of this is 2 separate teams, because that third party came through extremely fast, as the gold mag is going to be pinged, and they're going to just dip on out of here, giving enough respect to the Team Razor squad, because if you come through and you understand that not one of them is knocked, they're going to have multiple armor swaps in there. They're skilled enough to fend off that third party, and it's just not going to be another team. It's going to be 3, 4, 5 teams throughout all of this, as Blight's going to get a finish there onto Gene. So heads up plays coming in for Team Razor and from Team Pog, and we're starting to see, a little bit of a slower game, I guess, than game number 2. Game number 2 was just absolutely insane.
Here's Team Pringles playing out of Train Yard right now. We've got the Sentinels in the hand of DePressley, who's trying to evolve that Evo shield for himself. He's going to go ahead and swap off to that Bocheck bow instead, as a lot of fighting still taking place. Nestle now find themselves in a fight over here by staging and, by countdown. They do have a full scan, but it's the defensive bombardment that will take out Bambino. Ronnie here to cover him, though, and he's got a good spray. It's bringing down that first target really low, but unfortunately, the bubble is just not there to keep Bambino alive. And oh no, Ronnie is taking a lot of damage. He will be able to secure that banner at the very least. And they got a knock and a thirst onto Ferocity, bringing this down to a 2v2, but they have to be careful. Rotation timings, a lot of teams should start showing up in the area and call it on that fight, especially after being able to pick up that banner. But they now need to find a beacon to bring him back. Team Pringles, though, still find themselves with some action here over by Train Yard, and this is why they were playing that position, trying to find the kill points. They're currently down by about 40 to Team Intel, I believe, after 2 games. It's Team Intel actually getting into a fight, taking out Zara Tricky. It's a 3-team affair in that fight, though. And so this is what I was talking about, the rotations coming out from the southern side. It looks like, and Nestle are in the area now as well, but Team Pringles are going to just full send it onto the squad. They lose out on 1. It's Applejacks that are in the area.
And that's why you see the bounce pad coming through for Fury. He's trying to get over towards the high ground as fast as possible. The finish comes through for Aves, and there's another team on top of the roof here, so Fury doesn't have an opportunity to get back on the unless he clambers, and Aves is still locking things down. So I like this play from Fury. He's going to do what he can to get this 1 banner at least, and he would be an absolute psycho if he wants to hit this res. But actually, Team Cheez-It is flying through and helping their cause. That could be enough distraction to go and hit that res, maybe get one of these loot boxes off of the dead bodies. And man, NRG Rocker is here too. So we have 4 teams over towards the warehouse inside of Train, and Team Pringles thought that they were just going to be the lone team locking things down on top of the train carts, but everybody started to come after the fights.
I was wondering how much of a funnel we would have on the south side of the map. Team Intel are the only one that didn't join this fight amongst our teams that are currently in the bubble. They lose out on Joey Blackout, and things are looking so good for Team Intel. After the first 3 games in the final week, they have fought themselves, clawed their way into what should be the top 4 if they can finish out this game strong.
They're taking an unorthodox approach. I mean, the rotations are, you know, not the same every single time. They're mixing things up. They're mixing up the play style. We know how many points they needed in game number 1 when we were starting things off. So they were just taking literally every single fight, but doing it at a pretty fast pace and not making any major mistakes. This time they're slowing things down a little bit, playing things methodical, and making sure that they're picking up kills and making it into the end zone so they can pick up kill points and kind of get a double whammy. So I do like that, and they're being gifted throughout all of this by Team Cheez-It and Team Applejacks, taking a lot of fights where there's just plenty of teams that are involved. So Joey Blackout's banner is going to be going away in 28 seconds. You're going to see Prodigy Aces come through, pick that one up, and they're going to try to decide how they're going to get this guy back into the game, because Joey Blackout really has been the only player to slow things down for Team Intel. That's twice he's actually gotten knocks onto 6 in these 3-on-3 battles, but right now 59 points is what Team Intel has after 2 games.
They're picking up more. They were able to pick up some throughout the mid game here in game number 3. Team Cheez-It, though, not out of it. It looks like Applejacks might quite possibly saw them on the wrong side of the kill feed there. And here we go. The final circles it is pulling up towards Skyhook. There's a chance that it goes over to the market like you were talking about, Tom. It looks like we have a fight going down over here. It's Team Lonely Fans, full 3 up. And we're trying to hunt down JBS. I believe JBS down to just a solo rat currently, as Team Lonely Fans were able to slowly pick apart 2 of them. But it's just a pit stop here for Lonely Fans, as they are using that replicator. They do have 25 more credits on Blueberry at the very least, so they can pick up some more stuff to use. It looks like, yeah, they're just going to swap out positions, and it's now 00 Negative's turn to go for that, as Blight is just in position to pick up this beacon when the ring does ultimately close for them.
Yeah, I think what the play is here for Lonely Fans is hold this beacon building, get the scan in a minute when it closes, and then they're going to be able to Valkyrie into a priority spot, because we got an opportunity to see how the players were setting up, and there's not a lot of teams over towards the Skyhook area, which is why this fight's actually able to take place right now. Turns is going to come through, get the knock. Corey's going to get the knock on a Senpai as well, and now it's just up to Cheese Fries, and that's Team Content with just a quick wipe over towards the top onto Team Rockstar. You can see again, it's always huge when you're able to keep your full shields and not take any health damage, because you can fend off the third parties with just coming through and hitting an armor swap, and that's exactly what's happening. It's only we the people who has to heal. Beast of the Hunt is going to go away here for Corey, so he's going to hit one more scan on the way out and get that quick scan coming back in about 8 seconds. So nice job by Team Content, as they're owning one of the better spots here, playing that middle high ground. But you do have another team, I thought, that was in the area, so that's why the pings are going down. It looks like they weren't interested in the third party, and Corey with some really nice shots to the window.
Yeah, and surprising, typically you don't see a push like that here in the middle of Skyhook when the ring ultimately pulls up here, but it's just because of all of the fighting that's been taking place as round 2 finishes closing. We're already down to 11 squads, 26 players remaining, so we should have a number of rats still in this lobby, or at least a lot of damaged teams currently. It's going to be Team Content, though, holding down one of the strongest positions here in Skyhook for now. They've got a good bead on where the others are positioned as well. I'd like to see maybe Corey swapping off with how he's been landing these shots to try and upgrade these armors for his boys. Turns and We the People are still sitting on purples, and it looks like that is what they are going to do for the time being. Corey has been hitting some great shots through those windows like you talked about, Tom.
They might as well just give it to the hot hand, so they're going to continue to armor swap, and so much shots in the Spitfire here. Spitfire Mastiff, gold armor for We the People, toxic controller combo. And they're waiting for players to start to filter in, right? Like a team like Lonely Fans that may be flying in after they hit the respawn beacon, or excuse me, after they hit the beacon, so they can scan and find out where zone number 4 is going to be. But here's the rotation coming in for Team Pringles, and they're only doing it with 2 players, obviously, because Phony has timed out. It's Suppressing, making some moves, hitting the wiggle womble, and he's going to be able to make it a little unnecessary wiggle womble. All right, seizure alert, everybody, relax. All right, everyone's okay. Presley makes it in. Maybe he
almost
didn't
got
need to wiggle
punished
that
for
much.
that, though.
I feel like he was kind of joking with everybody, right? We're in first place. I'll dance around. Okay, wait, I gotta get inside.
Yeah. We'll slow heal this one, and just surprising getting a free building here in Skyhook, but it's for the fact that there's just been so much fighting taking place on the southern side of the map. Good swap off coming out to conserve as much of their meds as possible, so that'll just be 2 syringes that Depressedly needs to heal up with here. Now, things have slowed down in the 3rd round. Love to see where this ring ends up pulling as Team Cheez-It were able to recover, got their 3rd back in, but they're not out of trouble quite yet. Down here on the south side of Countdown, they have another team ahead of them. Joey Blackout healing up with that bat. Prodigy Aces backing away, and it looks like they are not going to commit for this fight. They're going to try and opt to see if they can move through the tunnels just to the east of them instead.
Heads up play from Team Cheez-It. I mean, they've been a little bit on the ropes for a while now, and the fact that they're able to kind of rotate over here towards the train tunnel should be good. If no one's going to be in the vicinity, they're going to need Joey Blackout to hit a scan as they make their way through. But again, it's been a very fast-paced game number 2 and 3, so not anticipating anybody over here as we do see Team Pog. Team Pog's been all over the map.
Yeah, they secure a spot now inside Skyhook over by Market. This is the spot that you were talking about. We'll find out in 9 short seconds where this ring pulls, but Crook might want to push off of that. Beautiful spray with that hip fire. He's got the purple mag as well, so he can lay into them for days if he wants to. Still sitting on 300 ammo, so he's got plenty of ammo to just let loose there, but they do get scanned up, and now might be caught out in between 2 teams. The ring pulling in closer and closer towards this market, so it might just well be a market ending now. But with 9 squads remaining, 24 players left, it becomes difficult if you want to try and make some of these pushes. Still peeking out, almost does got to actually get the upgrade on his armor at the very least, trading away that damage. Rocker himself is down to 58 damage away from the red Evo. So we do have a fight taking place. Team Content versus Team Lonely Fan. 00 negative going down. And it looks like Joey Blackout and Prodigy Aces show up to clean up Team Lonely Fans. We are now down to 8 squads remaining.
How many cells does this team inside the building have? They are just getting ripped apart. Crook with the Spitfire, Zaniel with the Wingman over here, and it's like if you need any heavy ammo, I guarantee Crook's gonna be able to help you out. I mean, him and We the People are probably owning about 1,000 light or 1,000 heavy just between the 2 of them on those 2 Spitfires. Absolutely ridiculous amount of ammo over here towards the Skyhook side. But I'm just so impressed with, you know, Crook's tracking and then Zaniel bullying this team over towards the side. I mean, they're not really expecting any kill points off of that. Like you said, I mean, if you're already doing 150, 160 or plus, you're most likely going to charge off that. So if they're not playing aggressive, they're just really trying to bully him, trying to make him continue to use resources, and they feel good about what they have, obviously, especially with the shots that they're laying down. So let's see what Fury's going to be able to do with the Kraber. Oh, 145, Ooh. Just a sliver away from being a headshot right there, and he has that bounce pad ready if they want to use it. So this is an opportunity for Team Pringles with just a 2-man team to do something. You could see a little bit of their building is going to be in the zone. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, about 5 or 6 areas to hold. I mean, there's going to be plenty of spots because teams will coexist over towards the buildings and also towards the giant middle structure. So this is going to continue to go to zone number 5 and to zone number 6. I'm not expecting, unless something absolutely crazy happens, maybe it's Fury starting things off with a headshot, this should be fairly slow.
Yeah, and their building is safe in. You can see the rotate coming out now, and wonder if that was just a solo there, hitting for 145 onto that Valkyrie. For him, they did have that purple armor, but man, that was close. Team Pringles still alive here in the top 8, only playing this one out as a duo, I believe. Team Cheez-It looking like they're down to a duo as well. We're getting the updates there, but they do finish off Obey's Ronnie. That's going to be Nestle now out of this. We're down to 7 squads remaining, 20 teams left. Excuse me, 20 players left, as we do have a better idea of where everyone is. So we can see on that middle side of Skyhook, we've got 2 teams on the big tower. We've got Team Intel running on the western edge. We've got Flashpoint as well inside the building just between them and Team Intel now, as we do have the rotates coming out. They're trying to make their way on in. Team Pringles getting very, very aggressive here as they're trying to find an early priority spot for this next zone.
question is how is Team Intel going to play this one? Because they have a majority of the players that they need to be eliminated besides Team Cheez-It out right now. So this is a good situation to be in, and Team Cheez-It is one of the teams that have to make a rotation coming up here in about 30 seconds. They can, you know, continue to play this middle area and then rotate in front of them, but while they rotate in front of them, they're going to have team content directly above them. So it really, again, it comes down to Rakinishu and his ability to play Gibraltar in these type of situations. Get to maybe a fence, use your bubble if you need to, hit the defensive bombardment if you need to use that on top of the team above you. But the problem is every time they go to peek, you could see triple takes coming over towards the side. Fury actually gets a knock onto turns. If they realize that's the team above them, they may full send this.
You see the scans going out, and they might have actually seen the outline there, and so they might try to full send it here. This is going to be the biggest issue for them, dealing with the squad up top, but instead, they're going to hope that in having to revive, they're going to be super late on the rotate, and they can try to punish them on the way down. You can see them just biding their time, but here's a port out as well from above now as they make their way on in. Team Cheez-It has to run in with another squad, is just able to catch them off guard in front of them. We'll see if the port gets taken now, but Rakinishu is trying his best to avoid a lot of this damage. Round 5 closing in. He might have a spot here on the fence, and it doesn't look like it's actually in. They'll take their time though, and oh no! Rakinishu gets sent up by that jump pad, takes a lot of damage, and now Team Cheez-It are forced to early bubble here. Rakinishu will go down. Mini picks that one up. Now we'll see if Team Cheez-It can recover here. This Team Pringles are down to a solo. It's going to be all up to Fury as the rat for Team Pringles, and Team Cheez-It have been taken out. 6 picks up one of those kills, finally getting some revenge on Joey Blackout.
Fury trying to get it over towards the side so he can armor swap, and he's just not going to be able to do it. That's actually 6 with the wingman. Picking up some more along the way. They're rocking this high ground over towards the building, and you can see Market is still going to be in. Pander's starting to push in with the Volt, laying down some huge spray, but he's been bait and switched over towards the side, so the other counter bait and switch comes through, and there it is. Team Intel. It started with 6 coming through, then Panders follows it up with the Volt, and now they're ready to fend off any type of third parties. They take over the Market side and just were waiting to pounce on their opportunity. Full 3-on-3 situation here, 3-on-3 situation. Team Intel seems to be in the middle of the two teams. 6 is going to have to use his bubble perfectly here.
And they are backed up into a corner, but they have plenty to work with in terms of cover, in terms of armor swaps as well. 6 taking some damage there, but it's been a little bit of a slower game for Team Intel. Not quite the pace that we saw out of games number 1 and 2, but here is another top 3 finish for them. So if they haven't caught up, I would be surprised by now. If they are not in 4th place, I would be surprised, but here it is, the final ring closing on in. You can see closing right behind them. They are getting pinched by either side. The missiles going in, tagging 6 just a little bit, but he does back away, and he will force that squad off, but they are getting pinched by either team now. As you can see, the nades coming out, and they force back that squad, alleviating some of this pressure, but they're going to be forced out into the open very shortly. Great job by Panders to force out that bubble early on, so it gives them a lot more options here, a lot more utility to use, but again, the final 3v3. The first 2 teams that commit onto a fight end up usually losing out on this one, and Team Intel are doing it again, forcing the 2 teams to fight. They got the first knock, turns to go down. It's going to be a full 3v3 fight here, unless Metro has something to say about it. Almost getting the knock with that one spray, and 6 finding the off angle on the right-hand side. Team Intel are here to rule the lobbies, and they take game number 3.
You can see everybody going crazy at the Esports Arena headquarters. I mean, Team Intel is turning up. 2nd place in game number 1 with 30 points. Back-to-back wins right here. They're coming for that top 4 spots. Team Cheez-It, Team Applejacks have to be shaken right now. Heck, maybe even Team Pringles is shaken. Intel could be coming for the number 1 spot the way they're playing right now.
Yeah, at this point, no doubt about it. Team Intel should be in the top 4, and with the way that they're playing, they might even propel themselves up to the top 3 and just secure that spot. If they keep putting up points like this, we're going to go ahead and take a short break. When we get back, we will find out exactly where they stand and get an update on that. But don't go anywhere, guys. We have the second half of day number 1 here for Pringles Week after this.
As of right now in the Apex Legends meta, I am using Gibby or Bloodhound, depending on where you watch me from. as of right now, the gun combinations that I do use are the charge rifle and the Eva on Gibby. And if I'm going with Bloodhound, I use something close range like a Volt or like an R9 as well. Those are my primarily used guns. And yeah.
You know, actually looking at Lava City, those one squad that's closer to Team Cheez It is actually going to be Lonely Fans. So that's going to be interesting to see because they will run into each other based on rotations. But it's going to be Team Pringles with Phony. He's the epitome of one. He's going to hold the door to heal up safely. But it looks like he's trying to trick him, being able to break the shield in time. Oh!
So usually in Series E on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we usually figure out beforehand who's in the lobby. And if we're able to claim a spot that we want, we usually take it. And if we're not able to, we usually fight for the spot that we do want that has most likely the best loot. So that would imply like sorting or epi just for our play style. We would just take those two. And that's just mostly for Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Coming up into the champs, we will be taking epi whenever complexity is not there. And then Lava Fisher whenever SSG is not in the lobby and complexity is in our lobby. If you guys are ever looking for Pringles or shopping for Pringles, just go ahead and go to walmart.com/esportsarena. I play Apex Legends for Team Pringles, and this is Pringles Week.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Series E. It is Pringles Week here in the final week of Season 2. I'm your host, Yeso, and 3 games done for the day, and Intel taking back-to-back dubs. An impressive performance from them, and I would like to take a moment to apologize, okay? I did a segment at the top of the show. I pulled up our partner team standings, and I was talking about Team Pringles has got it locked down. The battle we're looking at here is, second and third, and then fourth and fifth. And I was talking about it's Team Cheez-Its versus Team Applejacks for that 4th place spot. So I would like to formally apologize to Team Intel because I gave them no airtime there, and they have just impressed us like crazy tonight. They won open night last week, and they put themselves within striking distance. But when I looked at the standings, I thought to myself, well, there's no way Team Cheez-It and Team Applejacks just botted up in this last week and give Intel a sniff at 4th place. But that is exactly what we've seen here through 3 games as I pull up our post-game stats here. So I don't know the exact position we are at in those partner team standings, but Intel has now become a serious threat to take 4th place and qualify automatically for Season 3 of Series E. So as Jamerson and T-Squared have been highlighting, that is a storyline you are going to want to follow here the rest of the week. We have 9 games remaining in Season 2, so you are not going to want to miss a minute. So make sure you don't go away. Post-game stats here. It's our cumulative stats through the first 3 games, and obviously Team Intel with those 2 dubs and a 2nd place finish. They are sitting in the lead, led by 6. They are looking so strong here today. And Panders, so far today, 21 kills, our kill leader through 3 games and 6 with over 5,000 damage. He is averaging over 1,600 damage a game through 3 games. It's a great performance from him so far today, and we'll have to see if they can keep it rolling in the back half of our games today. 3 more remaining tonight, 6 more tomorrow before we close the season. I do want to talk a little bit more. I've been highlighting the last couple of Tuesday nights some of my choices for MVP this season, the best player in Season 2 of Series E. And I highlighted to start off a couple of statistical monsters. I talked about Phony from Team Pringles the first week. Last week, I highlighted Mr. Hawkulo, who is coming off a top Slayer ranking in Season 1, looking to do it again here in Season 2, but I want to take a bit of a different route here, and I want to talk about Farmer Lucas, the IGL for Team Pop-Tarts. Now, not a slouch in the statistical department, but not certainly a leader. 152 kills this season, good enough for 12th there for Farmer Lucas. 541 damage a game and 116 assists so far this season. So by no means a statistical wonder here in Series E when we have multiple players at over 200 kills. But I want to talk about the fact that Farmer Lucas is coming into Season 2 having finished in last place in Season 1 with Team Pop-Tarts, then garnering together a new roster there for Team Pop-Tarts coming into the season, qualifying, and then being the second most consistent behind Team Pringles throughout this entire season. He has got that roster humming. So big credit to Farmer Lucas. I think he has really brought this roster together. They have been extremely impressive throughout this season, and they're trying to hold on to that second place spot. Team Razor certainly trying to come for it here this final week, but it is definitely a crazy thing to follow. I believe production had an update for me that I just missed a moment ago. They're going to let me know on that. Okay, I'm not going to give you guys any spoilers, but we do have a crazy update coming after the break. So we're going to go to a quick break here. Jamerson and T-Squared are going to come back with Game 4 and some more updates for you on what's going on here in Series E. We'll be back.
So I played Gibraltar for my team, and probably my favorite gun combinations, it's pretty toxic, but I like using a charge rifle or a bow. Pretty much any gun that I can just poke at people and they can't do anything back to me, just because I like to be mean to people and know that I can't get punished for it because I'm shooting you from 400 meters away.
Presley coming through, and Pringles silently having a really solid game, and oh, I bet Presley's eyes are lighting up right now. He doesn't even have to look. He just has to just keep shooting, and he's going to pick up a ton of kills. Presley taking.
So on Tuesdays, we usually stick to Sorting Factory, and then pretty much anyone that comes to Sorting Factory, we usually either kill them off drop, or we will just run them down. And then on Wednesday, depending on how that week before went, and also how ranked has been going, we will either give up sorting and go somewhere else and try not to mess with the pro teams. That way we can all get good practice. We're a very dynamic team, so we can pretty much just play from anywhere and just deal with the cards that we're dealt. If you want to buy Pringles, head on over to walmart.com/esportsarena and you can cop yourself some Pringles. I play for Team Pringles, and you're watching Pringles Week.
Stack Pringles flavors. Make new ones.
How much do you think Pringles paid these people?
Hardly anything. Hey, you guys want to stack different Pringles flavors to create new flavor combos? Here, I'll go first. Pizza, barbecue, and jalapeno. The spicy barbecue pizza stack. Get him!
Grandpa, what's going on?
Pringles. We're trapped in a Pringles commercial. They must have taken us in our sleep.
How can we get out?
We can't, Summer. They warned me this would happen and I didn't listen. Stack Pringles flavors. Make new ones.
How much do you think Pringles paid these people?
Hardly anything. Hey, you guys want to stack different Pringles flavors to create new flavor combos? Here, I'll go first. Pizza, barbecue, and jalapeno. The spicy barbecue pizza stack. Get him!
Grandpa, what's going on?
Pringles. We're trapped in a Pringles commercial. They must have taken us in our sleep.
How can we get out?
We can't, Summer. They warned me this would happen and I didn't listen. Stack Pringles, make endless new flavors. Stacking Pringles to make new flavors. Make endless new flavors. Barbecue, wavy, and sour cream and onion equals a 3-layer dip stack.
Imagine you love frosting and filling.
I do love frosting and filling.
Oh, well, imagine if there was a way to enjoy that delicious goodness anywhere, anytime, out of the toaster, out of the box, out of one of those baggy thingies, with nothing but a thin layer of foil between you and...
Pasta.
Yes, Curtis. This is a commercial about pasta.
I love it.
Frosting and filling for your pasta.
I like pesto.
I wasn't born in the spotlight. Nah. Had to grind and shine like a star on a hot night. And something about the struggle now resides in my muscles. And every trial and trouble helped to hang my hustle. Real rock stars don't chase the spotlight. It chases them.
Cheez-It snapped. How's it taste? It's so thin, crispy, and cheesy. And I just want to keep eating it. And eating it. I love them.
Snapped. So good we may run out of cheese.
It's fruit refreshing, refreshingly sweet, but without sugar, 0 calorie treat. They're all our top flavored smash.
It's fruit freshin'.
Kellogg's, Fruit Loops, Apple Jacks, Corn Pops, Tiger Paws. They're Jumbo.
Jumbo snacks, snack time heroes. Don't take them on the go. Cereal, magnified, showing up for snacking time. Jumbo snacks, snack time heroes. Don't take them on the go.
It's Jumbo. It's for snacking. It's Jumbo Snacks.
We're gonna hold right here, and then when this team starts pushing up, just get to these boxes right here, and then we're gonna bubble left, and then we're gonna aggro on them, okay? All right.
Right here. Move up, move up. 130 on the Gibby. I'm bubbing up, I'm bubbing up. Get in here.
I think I can push on this guy by myself. I can kill him. I can kill him. Nice, I got him. That's one more squad. We're chilling. We're good.
All right, let's go, let's go, let's go. 50, 50, 50. He's blood, he's blood, he's blood.
Two dead, two knocked on. He's one. Ape.
Got him. Last one. Jibby. Dead. Nice. GG. Let's go.
Let's go. Good shit, bro.
GG's.
If you guys are ever looking for Pringles or shopping for Pringles,
Make sure you head over to walmart.com/esportsarena.
And you can cop yourself some Pringles.
All right, welcome back, guys, to Series E. We're about to head into the second half of the day, and the big question is, leading into games 4, 5, and 6, can anyone stop Team Intel, Tom?
I really hope not. I really don't. I want to see Team Intel continue to play like this. It's a lot of fun to watch, honestly. Like when 6 is, running on all cylinders as an in-game leader, but also as someone that's leading the, skirmishes too, you can see really what they're capable of. It's a lot of communication to be able to pull things off like this. I really hope that in Season 3, maybe we're able to get these players in Discord for listening so we can see exactly how they're able to go about their situations, because there are a lot of different spots that they're getting out of, whether it's the 50-50 that started off in game number 1, whether it's middle game, not taking a fight directly in front of them and swooping back around to take a third party over in a spot where we didn't expect Team Intel to be, or it's when these zones are closing out at the very end and they're picking teams apart. And I think really the most special thing that Team Intel has done towards the tail end of these games, as we talk about the final circles, is the presence that they've had individually. All 3 players are taking angles, and that's why they're actually filtering these teams into each other, because the other teams are wandering around, poking, wondering where they're going to be free. Team Intel's locking those angles down. They're too scared to put pressure on that side because Intel's pressure is too strong, and then that's how they get them to filter into one another.
That's right. 3 solid finishes in a row, a second place, a first, and then a back-to-back win there in the third game. So let's take a look at the Mobile One leaderboard to see where they, how many points actually they have at this point. We know they're in first, and there's no possible way.
Let's go.
82 points after 3 games?
I know you're not supposed to, I'm not being biased. I'm just rooting for some good Apex here, okay? I want to see records broken. And Team Intel already set the record for first half, I believe, right there. 82 points to start is absolutely ridiculous. If they could keep this pace up, we are definitely going to have an overall points total that we've never seen before. I think the record is somewhere around like 1-7, 110. And Team Intel really just a game or two away from that, as we have 3 remaining. But will anyone even be able to catch up? They could just, probably set their controllers, mouse and keyboard down and let things play out and still be in first place. So let's go ahead and run through the rest of these teams, though, because you have a couple of our, top amateur or open teams here, actually. Not even amateur teams. A lot of these teams are actually pro players. Flashpoint, Content, Pog. They're playing pretty strong. And when we're talking about Applejacks, Cheez-It needing to step it up, we got to give props to these open teams that really have nothing to lose coming through here and playing some great Apex.
And it's really strange to say, heading into the final, the second half of the day, to say that now it's really about these teams playing for second. Team Intel, barring just putting no points on the board over 3 games, they would ultimately lose out. But take a look at the cumulative leaderboard. They have done enough. Team Intel have come back from the 51 and a 49-point deficit overall in 6th place starting off the day. They are now 4 points above Team Cheez-It in the 4th place position overall, Tom.
These next 3 games are so important for these players and for these teams, but it's obviously going to come down to our pro day tomorrow, so make sure y'all tune in for that. But these next 3 games are so important because there's more points that you could pick up here. You're not going to see, and it would be amazing to see, but you're not going to see Team Intel in 3 games drop 82 points tomorrow. That's just not the type of lobby that we're going to have, especially when you have the TSMs, Liquids, CLGs, etc. So, here is the opportunity to go and try to separate yourself as much as possible. And that's what Team Razor did in season 1, and that's what Team Intel is doing today. So all these other teams need to take advantage of that and take note of that. Watch how they're playing. They are playing a very unorthodox style. They're playing a very aggressive style, but they're also playing passive when they need to, and that's what you like to see.
Yeah, with 3 games left to go, it's about how much of a buffer can Team Intel build up heading into tomorrow's matches. Right now, it's only a 4-point lead above Team Cheez-It, and it looks like a 17-point lead above Team Applejack. So their work is still cut out for them, but with the way that they're playing today, this is going to be an amazing finish for them. We have 3 games left to go. In the first 3 games of the day, they secured 82 points. So this is an amazing start for them. Now, will they be able to carry through with this momentum? I'm going to say yes. I am just all aboard the Team Intel train for today's matches, as we are getting game number 4 set up. So yeah, it's just been such an amazing day, such a turnaround for them, really.
Let's take a look at the Mobile 1 high performance moment of game number 3 and see how they were actually able to close that out, because it was a weird situation over towards Skyhook. There's a lot going on, but really it started with the shots right here from Panders with the Volt. He comes through, thinks this player is going to still be there, but he actually baits and switches with the Bloodhound directly in front, and there goes the finish coming in for Metro. And look at what Metro has. He has the Devotion Purple Mag Turbocharger, which is still extremely underrated in these situations. It's difficult to find the turbocharger hop, and you really don't want to rock the Devotion unless you're going to be able to find that one. I think the Havoc is going to be probably more of the flavor of the month in terms of what's strong right now. But if you're still able to lock down those shots, I have some friends that I'm trying to get into Apex, and they're like, well, I'm like, why don't you like Apex? They're like, oh man, I like Warzone, where you could just kill everybody with, I could kill 5 people with 1 clip. And it's like, that's not really the case here in Apex, right? It's a lot different of a game. But the Devotion is one of those guns where you could take on a full team with just 1 clip, right? If you're able to hit your shots, if you're able to lay into people. And I really like the way that Intel baited and switched there. If Panders is a little bit too aggressive, if he flies around that corner and exposes himself just a little bit too much, then he's going to end up going down, and they actually don't win that game. Instead, all of the teammates fly up and they help, and that's what you're seeing from Team Intel is their timing is really, really good. You got some shots outside.
This dub just this dub putting them over the top, now 4 points ahead of Team Cheez-It as we are headed into game number 4 of the day. 3 more left to go. Well, it's not about will, it's about when will Team Intel break the 3-digit cap there. It's we're 18 points off, I believe, 82 points overall across 3 games now, heading into game number 4, and they've got 3 games to close in on 100 points, and we've rarely seen that here at Series E.
It's gonna be one heck of a ride if they can continue that pace up. I want to see it. I want to see them continue to play aggressive because they're starting to slow things down towards the tail end, and then they're really popping off. But I really think that was the zone there. Skyhook causes you to play that way. You can't continue to take a lot of fights because everybody's so clustered and the third parties are going to be there. So I really like the way that they've backed off when they've actually needed to. As we take a look at the first initial fights that are taking place, it's going to be some really nice shots coming in from Stunny.
Yeah, 4-team intel in that last game. They could have prioritized maybe trying to fight on the edge. We saw a lot of fighting taking place over by Train Yard, and sure enough, they could have gone in for it, but the positioning for Skyhook was so much more important. That secured them the net win and the kills that they ended up getting in the final six teams left. And so it is also important to remember that positioning will be important. But right now we're joining on board with RKT, who are looking for more. They do have one going for the redeploy now. And we do have the Volt with the 1-2, but not going to quite connect with it. So RKT, they're still happy with taking the 2 kill points here and will continue their looting.
And again, just great tracking in general. And Sunny's, if you've been watching him play in Series E, he's one of those players that very rarely loses any of his 1v1s or very rarely loses any of the trades. And you don't want to mess with him in these type of situations. So I really like that they're not afraid to take these fights and picking up one of the strongest combinations that you can with the R9 EVA 8 combination. The rest of his teammates are probably going to fall into the long range category. Expect Bird to pick something up like a scout along the lines of that would be perfect for him, as we see what's going on with Rockstar. Great damage coming out from Amdus Gibby. That's one of our open teams, but it looks like Trinal's there to answer, and oh my goodness, with the 30-30, are you kidding me? He's going to be able to hit an armor swap through all this. He's trying to live, but it's going to be revoked coming in with the finish. That was Team XOXO. We do have the third party coming through. There goes the scans, possible EMP, or maybe even a quick little recovery of the banners, but that's just going to be throwing that in the air so he could get some sort of information. There's the EMP, slowing things down, and he's actually trying to go and take the fight over here to Nestle Splash. So nice job taking down Bambino. Ronnie and Draco should be able to answer, and we're seeing a little bit of a different team composition coming in from Nestle Splash. Again, Ronnie used to be a Wraith main. We've seen, Dracos and Bambino on a handful of different legends, but this could be a good combination here for Nestle Splash. They just need to go and switch sides here, and there it is, a Caustic Gas through the window, finger roll from Dracos. You're not really expecting anyone to play Caustic in these type of situations, so good job, good third party coming in for Nestle Splash. Let's try to find out where this zone pull is going to go once things slow down a little bit.
It does seem to be pulling over towards more of the eastern side of the map as Pop-Tarts are making their way on through. Up to No Name now, they find themselves in a small engagement. Lucas still sitting on the white armor though, but you at least have Stomps and Impulse with the purple and blue respectively. Nice pickup there on that supply bin, as they're now looking to go full send on this team, clearing out all the angles, picking up some more utility along the way. Nades covering the top side as they go in for push, and it's a beautiful thermite connected onto all 3 members. He goes in, gets the first knock on 00 negative. Lonely Fans now down to a 2v3, and Stomps and company should be able to finish this one off. Stomps getting the thirst onto 00 negative, and now they push in as a full 3. They lose out on Impulse. Have they traded back? No! The tables are turned on them, but that's a beautiful 88 coming out from Stomps as he's looking to get that final kill. Oh boy, things have slowed down and gotten really scary for Pop-Tarts as they go in for the full reset before they reapproach this fight. Stomps is going to try and get an angle through this window in just a moment here, but man, they've bought so much time here. He does have the angle, gets the thirst on the 00 negative, only hits for the 19 on the blue as Lucas tries to find an angle on the other side of this building. The longer this takes, you can see Nestle might come in for the third party here. This time around, Stomps does not connect with that. Now they are getting third partied, and this might be it. They should just call it, but no, they are staying tenacious here and want to get the revenge on this. As you can see, the third parties are coming in, Tom.
I'm shocked that Lucas hasn't dropped a portal, but they are playing this to the very, very last second because that's how interested they are in getting this banner. They know if they bail right now, they don't really have time to come back and get that recovery, and they're trying to win this game. Fortunately for them, they have the second place locked down right now, so they're able to make a little bit more confident, aggressive plays like this. As we do see the push coming in for Nestle Splash, they're starting to push on to Team North Stars. They have them all cornered over here, and it looks like they are going to be able to take them down. Draco's tossing down some barrels, so they're able to reset. Nice job by Nestle Splash.
Yeah, save for the third party, thankfully, because Nestle were caught up here. And there it is, Pop-Tarts finally making their push on in, and they will be able to take out Lonely Fans. They need to get Impulse back into this game. How many more teams are starting to show up in the area? We'll see if this respawn beacon just outside is safe for them, or if they opt to go a little bit further. They can go all the way over to Overlook if they want to, and looks like that is going to be the plan for Team Pop-Tarts to get Impulse back into the game, but oh no, Stomps gets hit on his way up the hill, and now here's Lucas to just port their way back. And it looks like they will have to use this res over here instead.
And that's why Lucas was saving this for the last case scenario, and that's, you know, a really good sign of really good confidence and communication from Team Pop-Tarts. So they're still on the run here, but they're at least 2 healthy players with a banner to try to get Impulse back into the game. And they knew the situation, they couldn't be on the run, and if they were on the run, they were going to be playing this just as a 2-man team. And obviously with the current meta, I think back in the day when it was, you know, Pathfinder, Watson, Wraith, it was okay to just say, okay, we have 2 players. What 2 players are they? Let's try to survive. But here, if it's not just a solo and you're not just ratting it out, you really try to get your teammates back into the game, because you typically won't find a team just playing as a duo that will, it's very rare, I would say, in a high level lobby for just a duo to win. You typically get out around that 5th place. There's just so many scans, there's just so much going on that you're not going to be able to make it through there. So I do like that play from Team Pop-Tarts, and if you're Impulse, you love to see that.
I'm joining on board with Team Razor as they are making their way on through Train Yard. Now, have to be careful, but that's a beautiful spray coming out from Zera Tricky, getting the crack with that R301. That just buys them enough space to start backing away and finding a better angle now on this fight. Looks like they do turn around for it. Pop-Tarts will be able to get Impulse back into this, and no one quite pressuring them, surprisingly enough. And now the nades are coming in, and they have to be careful as Impulse is trying his best to find a better armor, still sitting on the white, and there it is, the blue coming on over for them. So Pop-Tarts with a great recovery here, playing out of No Name now. You can see they're also recovering in terms of their economy, tossing things around to each other as Team Content find themselves in that fight over by Train Yards and Niles, taking out Corey. And so Content are down to the 2v3. They got the res onto Corey, but was it worth as Turns gives his life for it? Crook does come back in to get the answer back, but now Corey is left in the 1v. I don't even know how many at this point. They will fall as Team Pog pick that one up and get the banner as well. Will they have the time to try and go for the res as Team Razor now are turning on the pressure onto them?
You can see the Spitfire in hand for Serial, but with just the red dot, it's really not the angle that you were hoping for. And he's going to go and toss that jump pad down, make sure that they make the rotation over down towards the train tunnel. That team was obviously going to give them the runabout, and they're trying to get ahead of them and rotate in front of them as they're coming down over towards this west-hand side. So good call coming in for Serial. They're even charging a little bit more forward because the other team's not expecting the timing because of the placement of that jump pad. So we'll see if the rest of the Team Razor is going to be able to catch up, and that's the route that the enemy team does take. Team Applejacks locking things down inside of the train tunnel building, and this could be, you know, them just slow playing, or we may have some information that they know. Or let's see, they're going to actually have a team next to them, so that's why they're sitting in that building. This Team Cheese has a team directly next to them too. Bubble's going to be down. Ooh. Oh, the Arc Star hits for Joey Blackout. We'll find out which team this is very shortly.
Joey Blackout has been basically the MVP of the day, and it's going to be Team Intel on the other side. This is going to be a massive snipe coming out from them. Already bringing this down to a 3v2. You can see the Valk missiles coming in as well as Team Cheez-It. Have to be careful. The high ground pressure is a little bit too much now, but they do spot one out on the left. Rakinisho has to back off because he needs to heal. Luckily for him, he's got that gold armor, and now the rest of Team Cheez-It are ready to posture up, but Joey Blackout with the sun in his eye finds it difficult to land those shots. It's going to be forced to Phoenix kit up. Cheez-It will secure that next kill onto 6, and now Team Intel are just down to 1. And this is a huge, huge play for the rest of the lobby, unless Panders has something to say about it. Left in the 2v1. Here's the full send out from Team Cheez-It. Team Intel are knocked out in 12th place with no kill point, so they only put up like 1 point throughout this game. So finally, the team slows down Team Intel as Applejacks, they'll find themselves in a fight against Nestle, and the cost of gas seems to be too much for them. Ronnie, though, left in the 1v1 now, and he will clutch up. Applejacks are knocked out, and Nestle will secure this spot in Frag East.
And you just got to say, Joey Blackout is really the only person that has been able to touch Team Intel throughout any of these team fights, whether it's the knocks onto 6 or they're the arc star there onto Metro. It's been, you know, it's been pretty crazy to watch him be the one-man Intel wrecking crew, but still, with around 90 points, I don't think Intel's too worried about that one. They're going to brush off and go next as they look forward to game number 5 is Nestle Splash. They've been in this building forever, and Dracos is stacking up that ammo for the flatline if you haven't noticed.
Yeah, 420. You imagine at this point that he would have had a Spitfire in the back pocket instead, but yeah, 420 on the heavy ammo for himself, and despite all the fights that they've been in, it's now Team Cheese to find themselves in another fight here as they try to move through this choke point, trying to get into Frag West, and this is going to be dangerous as the round 2 starts closing up. Serial takes a lot of damage, but he's going to be able to safely back up. Zeratricky pushing into the zone through that bubble, gets the knock on to Arakinishu, and has a little bit of difficulty finding the next target, but he will be able to continue now. Prodigy Aces goes down, left in the 1v3. Joey Blackout cannot do anything. So, despite having the opportunity to really shut down Team Intel and gain back the lead, if they did, it's only by a few points at this juncture. Here's Team Paw coming in for the third party up against them, but it looks like they'll be forced back because of the defensive bombardment. And remember, this is still round 2 ring, so it's not taking for too much. So these teams are still comfortable taking this damage for now, but at some point you do have to call it and start backing away, which is what they're going to do. Team Pop-Tarts, off the back of recovering over there at No Name, make their way over to Frag East. This is going to be a blind rotate into the buildings unless they scanned it beforehand, and they'll get a free cafeteria building or diner building for their troubles.
If they got impulse back for anything, it's so they can scan the buildings as they approach them right here. So a nice job for Team Pop-Tarts being able to get them back in and locking things down. But you know, for Team Intel, they did get slowed down, right? So for Cheez-It, that's a start. You can't really get all the points back in one game if you're them. Just actually getting the kills on them has to feel pretty good. At the same time, they were hoping that they could continue to have a fairly big game. But there's going to be Team Pringles still in it. They're going to be getting a knock on to Crook. And I actually wanted to talk about Crook and his impressive Gibby play. I mean, he's been playing absolutely phenomenal, but it looks like they are down in this fight right now. It's only up to Zenile. There goes the massive shots. He's actually doing a great job of staying alive. Flashpoints coming in with the third party. You can see Kupski laying down some shots over there from the door, and through all of that, it looks like he's going to be able to pick up a couple of kill points. There is the Gibraltar down below. I don't think you see him play yet.
Oh, he does now, and we'll be able to get that thirst in just a moment. It's going to be Team Pringles losing out on one completely. Kelsey gets that red Evo armor swap for himself as well. You can see the ring is pulling into Frag East, and so number buildings where this one can end as Team Razor try to rotate their way on in. We've got the gold bag res for Serial as he's back on his feet with 125 HP. He'll be able to passively heal his HP while he actually elects to pop that Phoenix kit, surprisingly enough. And so might mean maybe they just want to get rid of it and use that, especially because it can take a while to pop that in the middle of a late game fight. So I like that call, but Team Razor, they should be safe here on the southern side. There's really no pressure for them to push down into Frag East quite yet.
Yeah, you never want to have like more than 2 Phoenix kits, right? Like 2 in these instances is kind of perfect. So maybe Serial was like, all right, I'm just going to use one of these and I'll be a-okay throughout all of that. Like you said, Jamerson, when things get absolutely crazy, you don't have 10 seconds to pop these. That's why the gold armor is going to be so valuable here, and the batteries end up becoming twice as important. Rice Krispie Treats, they have been locking things down inside of this train tunnel building, again, for quite some time. Not the crazy amount of kill points that they were hoping for, but still, it's very similar to the Skyhook zones on the Fragment side, right? You can't give up a good position. You can't give up one of your buildings just to go and look for kills. You have to, wait for your opportunities. If there is going to be any type of fight, you're going to have to portal third party into there. So that's what they're waiting for right now as the zone continues to pull towards them. And they do have that drop in front of them. The question is will Tech even be interested in wasting that kill opportunity with the third party in the portal to go for something like that drop?
And good awareness coming out from Stunny as well, that like this angle isn't completely safe. You still have to worry about that high ground coming out from Epicenter. And we got to see through his angle that there is a team that's up there right now, but a team that's been smack dab in the middle of all the action over here at Frag East. It is Nestle Splash, as it looks like Ronnie was the one that was able to pick up the the package and get himself a Kraber here. We know how dangerous this weapon can be in the hands of our skilled players in the late game. We saw, I believe it was Team Pringles that picked up a huge knock when we had their Skyhook circle earlier on and they were playing this one out as a duo.
And you can see Ronnie looking back like, yo, Bambino, where are you, man? We need the scans over towards this building, but they notice that it's free and they're going to go and take that. And now looking for a little jiggle peek, but Ronnie's going to have to back off. And it's an interesting combo. I mean, Kraber, Eva 8, once you get the knock, you're probably going to be trying to full send it over here. And there's the peek coming through. Ronnie's not going to be able to connect and most likely going to have to relocate. That player knows exactly where he is. And you could even send somebody else on your team to go and dance with that guy, but you're going to want to start taking multiple angles here if you're Ronnie, and I think that's what he's going to start looking for. He's going to start looking for more free shots over towards the side, maybe somebody that's not so close, so he can make sure that he does have an advantage with the scope here. You can see this Gibraltar is kind of playing games, so he's going to look for some more opportunities, but this is a big weapon in this type of instance, and this is probably one of the better games we've seen Nestle Splash put together.
When headshot, and he basically gets himself that red evil shield, goes for a wide peek for some reason out that door, gets cracked. And now Nestle using up a lot of their heals, but of course they did get into a lot of fights, so you have to imagine that their heal situation is looking perfectly fine. Get a better idea of where all of our teams are. You can see on the northern side, 2 of our open teams taking that position right now inside the park, and they are getting punished for it. Out in the open, RKT getting some free shots off onto them. Defensive bombardment goes down as well as that team just gets mopped up. RKT picks up, it looks like 2 or 3 of those kills. We'll see though. That allows this team now to make their way on over, unless they want to commit to this side and have to play bridge later on.
And it looks like Team Pop-Tarts, are they inside of this building with just a sliver? They are, so they're going to be inside this next zone and let a lot of these teams duke it out over towards the side. Typically, when you make your way over towards that courtyard area, you want the zone to pull over there. Unfortunately for that team, it doesn't. We do see a nice little 75 coming in for Rice Krispie Treats. There's a good, well-placed bubble. That's going to be Team Pop-Tarts. They're getting pinched over there, and Rice Krispies wasn't having any of that. They're going to come through. Stunny's the one that takes the most damage, but he hits the armor swap, and he also turns around and checks out the players that are coming in from behind. It looks like that is going to be Nestle Splash, waiting for their third-party opportunity. It wasn't the Kraber, it was Dracos just flying in, and then he hits it with the finger roll over towards the side. While that's happening, Tech actually rips him through the window. So that's going to be a res inside of the smoke, inside of the gas there coming in for Nestle Splash. Dracos is going to hop back in this one, and that is very well timed for Nestle Splash. I mean, Ronnie was looking for opportunities with the Kraber, couldn't find it, couldn't connect on the damage that he was hoping for, but the action was there, and they sent it when they needed to, and the timing was phenomenal. That's the type of plays Nestle Splash needs to be doing to, avoid being the team that's getting third party. They just need to wait for this kill feed to kind of play out, and then send it.
That's beautiful for them because they do lock down the train station building for themselves. RKT took the time to try and push out, but the third party was absolutely tremendous for Nestle. Team Razor will be coexisting with Flashpoint in this building now, as you can see them on the top spot, and our 4th squad playing off the northern side. Luckily for them, RKT helping clean out the northern side gives them the park for free, so no team's really playing off the bridge for now, but Flashpoint have to be careful in this position. They them and the team below them are the only ones that have contested buildings. As you can see now, it looks like they want to try and clear this one up. Team Razor were considering sending it on up, and the defensive bombardment is just going to get countered by that bubble. You can see Ronnie trying to assist in that effort as well, throwing down those missiles here. Ronnie still with the Kraber in hand, has not landed that shot quite yet, but all it takes is really just one shot, as now Dracos is eyeing, actually trying to push this squad. If you can get a barrel in there to apply some pressure, that would be nice, but we do have 4 squads remaining in our final circle.
Ryan's going for the quick 10 scopes there, so I feel like if he would just zoom out just a little bit, maybe these shots would end up connecting, but he's going for the straight headshots, Jamerson. That's what you like about Ronnie. He's not going for these 145s to the body. He's actually going for the quick flicks directly